this edition of Sightings. What's inside Hangar 18? UFO researchers believe there are alien bodies.
We have the bodies from the crash.
Then, a family turns to a psychic to find their daughter's killer.
We think Dorothy is going to give the police the leads to solve this case.
Later, is it chance or can you control luck?
Just got a funny feeling, and I won $7 million. It's incredible.
Also, when we die, where does our soul go? These people share a wondrous vision.
He led me into a ballroom
Sorry.
filled with hundreds and hundreds of people.
My bad. I was muted.
Had gathered for a party.
Plus, a Michigan woman is abducted by aliens and now heals the sick.
I was just saying, like, I was late because I was watching a VP stream, but I just ran down the schedule for the rest of the week. There's going to be sightings this afternoon, Marathon Thorpe stream tomorrow, no stream Thursday, Memphis in the morning Friday, Boyd Watch Live in the afternoon. And I think this is as close as I don't think we've seen this one, but I could be wrong. But I think we're close to where we were at.
He has abilities that are not like anything else I've seen before.
And was there once life on Mars?
Maybe we're all evolved Martians.
Monday of Thanksgiving week. Wow. What's up? It's me. Oh, people are speculating that I got tied up in the VP stream because there's a lot of drama right now. People are thinking she's pregnant or escorting or both. Everybody's trying to put the pieces together. Yes, ATF.
Welcome to Sightings.
It's a
I'm
safe
Tim White.
bet.
There have been persistent rumors that alien wreckage and remains from Roswell, New Mexico were stored in Hangar 18 at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio. In the 1960s, responding to the rumors, then Senator Barry Goldwater asked former Air Force Chief of Staff Curtis LeMay, "What's inside Hangar 18?" According to Goldwater, LeMay said, "Don't ever ask me that question again."
Hey, Izzy,
But
what's up?
Sightings is asking, what is inside Hangar 18?
There have been a certain percentage of this volume of reports that have been made by credible observers of relatively incredible things.
But where are these incredible things today? There is a long and voluminous paper trail of evidence that points in one
Voluminous.
direction, that points to a top-secret location known as Hangar 18 at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio. Many UFO researchers believe that at one time, wreckage from Roswell and other UFO crash sites, as well as the bodies of alien beings, were brought here for underground storage. Of course, the Air Force denies these charges, but ufologists counter that their denials are a prime example of the fox watching the henhouse door. But why Hangar 18? When there were desert bases much closer to the original crash sites? Why truck the wreckage to a base thousands of miles away?
Good question.
There were several advantages to using Wright-Patterson, according to Professor Michael Swords.
Wright-Patterson had several elements associated with it.
Professor Michael Swords.
It had a standard Air Force base at Patterson Field.
3
and it
boarded
had
up
a
alcohol. Yep,
high-technology
they're everywhere.
testing
It's a
facility
scourge.
at Wright Field. In between the two fields, it also had something unique to our government, and that was the Technical Intelligence Organization, so-called T2, or what became the Foreign Technology Division.
During the Second World War, T2, the Foreign Technology Division, would receive crashed German rockets and aircraft. Their job was to reverse engineer the craft. T2's quarters were allegedly far underground in a maze of secret laboratories at
Man, that'd be
Wright-Patterson.
cool.
This is the sort of division that would have been appropriate to use for the investigation of UFO research and ultimately became the home for Project
I don't know if I
Sign
trust
Blue
Michael
Book.
Swords or not.
Rumors of UFO secrets being kept here have become part of Dayton, Ohio folklore. In a series of news reports, local anchor Carl Day set out to determine if any of the rumors were true.
Well, recently we investigated the rumors about Hangar 18 and in particular the Roswell connection.
Oh, good Carl Day's here.
In July 1947, eyewitnesses at the Roswell crash site saw military personnel load wreckage onto trucks and cart it away. destination unknown.
We found that the wreckage from Roswell, probably, at least part of it, did arrive at Wright Pat around that time. What happened to it? We couldn't find any record of that. We found that was sort of interesting.
If, as the Air
He's
Force
got a great
maintains,
radio voice.
the wreckage was a weather balloon, why would it be transported via secret convoy from Roswell to Dayton? And once there, why would all record of a weather balloon retrieval disappear? The answer may lie here with Alfred Lenting, an engineer who, upon his retirement from T2, received a U.S. patent for this strange flying saucer design.
Al Ludding could have been influenced in his design by an alien type of technology, because when you look at his design, it is a low aspect, sort of ellipsoid-shaped craft with two
so-called
tiny
weather
tabs
balloons,
on the
yeah.
back that was taken extremely seriously by the Air Force.
It was during Letting's tenure at Wright-Patterson that the Air Force conducted Project Blue Book, its only publicly acknowledged UFO study. Ufologists believe Blue Book was simply a cover, designed to divert attention away from the real work going on deep underground. According to the nephew of then Deputy Head of Procurement Jack Donahue, autopsies were being performed on humanoid, but not human, creatures.
My Uncle Jack had a top secret security clearance when he worked at Wright.
Dono-ho.
The
Wow.
strangest story that he ever accounted to me was the day that he asked me if I had heard of a UFO crash out in Phoenix, Arizona. He said, we have the bodies from the crash.
Dono-ho.
He said, we went down to the cold storage area.
Donahue allegedly told his nephew that he was led down a series of twisting hallways to a secret room.
There was a stainless steel table in this room that was arranged a little bit like a laboratory.
Oh,
the
boy.
man, he said, look at this. Jack looked at the body. Jack told me that at the time they were doing full autopsies on the bodies. The head was shaped basically like a human head, only it was small. He said, we better not spend very much time here, and they left the room. I tried to bring it up at a later date. He said, forget him. Just forget about the whole incident. And I said, what do you mean, forget it? He said, just forget it. It never happened.
Well, there are still people that absolutely believe that alien bodies and UFO wreckage are still here on this base, and that the bodies are kept in cryogenic suspension somewhere.
It'd be good to
underneath
read out a
Wright
list of
Field.
prizes on a game
Legendary
show.
UFO researcher Leonard Stringfield investigated
Leonard
Hangar 18 for close to
Stringfield?
50
Okay.
years. In a rare interview just prior to his death in 1994, Stringfield told sightings that he had been able to track the progress of wreckage and alien bodies retrieved in several different parts of the Southwest.
In the beginnings, some of them were shipped to areas in Los Alamos, in the western sensitive areas from Albuquerque on down to Los Alamos and the whole region of New Mexico. And oftentimes for further analyses or study why they were sent to Wright-Patterson. I was told by one intelligence source here some years ago that they had 30 alien bodies underground at Wright-Patterson Field alone.
30 bodies.
1966.
And reports persisted well into the next decade that alien bodies were still being stored.
30
at
bodies,
Wright-Patterson.
what do you think? Higher or
One of the most
lower
interesting
than
discoveries, I
Bethlehem?
think, has to be the alleged alien jawbone that we uncovered.
Alleged.
Officials within the Air Force intelligence community have told me that they had determined back in the 70s, possibly before that, that this was an alien jawbone. I can't have anybody go on record, however, now as saying that.
You're on
I
the
think the Air
record
Force is
saying
hiding
it.
a lot of things. They are developing here on this base a lot of
Rick
super secret
Stringfield?
weapon systems for the future. Those should be kept secret. They did issue a
Swords,
statement,
Stringfield.
though, that there are no aliens or UFO pieces on this base now.
You think 30 is higher than methadone clinics?
At the end of the 1950s, 3 aeronautic engineers left what was then
Ben
Wright
Thorpe
Field
would, oh yeah,
and
he would
returned to
welcome
civilian
it.
life. Within 1 year, all 3 applied for patents with the U.S. Patent Office. All 3 wanted to patent flying saucer designs. We'll have more on those patents on an upcoming edition of Sightings.
Oh, what a cliffhanger.
Next, after a brutal crime remains unsolved, police turn to a
I wanted to see the patent information now.
psychic for help.
When the police ask me a question, right then and there I'm seeing a picture.
Oh, this lady's back again.
Dorothy Allison uses her psychic ability for one purpose and one purpose only. She solves crimes. Just recently, she was able to locate the body of a murder victim in Vancouver, Canada, when law enforcement thought that they'd reached an impasse. Now, a family in Monticello, Iowa, is hoping Dorothy can help.
Are you excited
Perhaps
for
a
tomorrow,
psychic hunch
South to
will
West?
finally
5
put their
hours of
family
Ben.
tragedy to rest.
The killer was down in this basement. I feel that the killer was in the basement first, and then he come upstairs. So this is the bedroom, I believe, where she was killed. And this is the spot, I see.
22-year-old Kathy Jo Cox Bolkin was murdered the day after Christmas 1993. Kathy's death haunts everyone in tiny Monticello, Iowa. A killer is still at large. The police are running out of leads, so they met with psychic detective Dorothy Allison at the request of scientists.
I know you do.
My first phone call to Dorothy kind of put the hair up on the back of my neck. She
really interesting interesting head and hair shape going on here for Chief Burton Walters.
mentioned a name of a person we had talked to, and she had no idea, you know, who we were dealing with or anything else, and right away it kind of makes things a little eerie. And
Dorothy's psychic impressions of the crime begin to come out as soon as she arrives in Monticello. She and Chief Walters move quickly to follow up on the explosion of images racing through Dorothy's mind.
So this is where I feel.
If you've had a paranormal experience, please call 1-900-HOT-BRUNO.
When the police ask me a question, right then and there I'm seeing a picture. The killer somehow comes along this path.
Monticello, population 3,500, is a small farming and factory town unused to the big city horrors of rampant crime. The last time someone was murdered here was in 1974. Kathy's parents, who own a popular convenience store in town, recall how they discovered that their daughter was dead.
The C-store.
We had a call from one of our customers at about 8:30 that morning, the 26th of December, and said, "Do you know your store isn't open?"
After failing to get his daughter on the telephone,
looks like Kevin Spacey under
just pushed on the door,
made up in latex.
Walked in and yelled her name 2 or 3 times, no answer, and walked back to her bedroom and
when I did go over there, they were coming back when they met me, and he just jumped out of the car and said, "We've lost her."
Kathy left behind one son, Michael, now 4 years old. Michael's father can't understand why anyone would kill Kathy.
She's such a good-hearted person.
Man, is this Steve
she
Carino?
Was, you know, down to earth, and I don't see where, you know, she didn't have a bad bone in her whole body. She was just good, you know. She always was smiling, and, you know, nothing really bothered her.
Oh my gosh, is this Only Use Me Blade? Wow, that looks just like him.
To her, a down-to-earth person.
Among the images confronting Dorothy is a hunting lodge with horses nearby. Chief Walters takes her to a location just outside
these roads
of
are not
Monticello
great,
that
TBH.
matches her psychic vision to a T.
He's absolutely from here. And somebody she knew, this is not a stranger who walked in on her. But I do think her murder was planned. I don't think it just happened. I think this person was angry with her, very upset.
Walkathon held for murder
Our
case.
hopes are really up.
Oh,
because we
walkathon
think
held,
Dorothy
like they're
is
holding
gonna
it. I thought they meant
give the police the
Never
leads to solve this case.
I get the feeling she
I thought they were charging the
met this
walkathon.
person around June or July from, you know, in the very beginning. And I think this person was angry with her, very upset. And I believe she insulted him in many ways, and he took whatever she said as a big insult.
Dorothy's visions continue to match
Did you
people
see
and
South to
places
West, that
familiar
one guy
to the
get
local
mad at him because Blade was like, "You're a black person," and the guy got really heated about it.
police. They asked Dorothy to work with a sketch
And like
artist
Blade
to
couldn't
build a composite of the
understand
killer.
in his state or whatever, because to him he wasn't being racist at all, but that guy was absolutely convinced that it was meant in a racist way.
His hair is medium brown, parts it to the right. His eyes are spread far apart. Trying to make him younger looking too. You know, late 20s, early 30s.
And I remember a girl that used to work behind a convenience store counter at her father's store that her life's been snuffed out. We need to bring justice to her crime, and we're going to have our killer behind.
Do you think AI will replace police sketch artists? It seems like now you could describe it, and then it could show you, like, every few seconds it could show you a different thing, and then you could be like, okay, that's that, like, that one's close or whatever. Are currently police sketch artists facing the same future as Bob Simpson in 1992?
Behind bars.
We have to know who did this. We have to know he's put away, that he's paying his penalty. He took our joy away. He took our hope away.
You have to survive every day. And he did destroy Kathy, but we can't let him destroy us.
He didn't destroy Kathy's spirit because it lives on through all of us, and through her son, Michael.
Well, what happened?
Here is another look at the man Dorothy Allison believes murdered Kathy Jo
She just came up with a
If
suspect.
you have any information about this case, please contact the Monticello, Iowa Police Department.
Next, when we die, where does our spirit go?
The waiting room of the soul.
A teaching pod. What we were doing was bringing each other up on our previous lives.
The Circle of Life is more than just a hit song from a popular Disney movie. It is the tenet of a number of religions that embrace the concept of reincarnation. And for believers, the Circle of Life
there
is a
could
way
be
of
hope for
explaining what
McHenry.
happens after we die. We simply go back to the place we were before we were born. Some describe it as a waiting room for the soul.
Man, that really had some gravity to it.
Overture, or the final curtain. Buddhists believe that.
Oh, thank you, Get Cracked. $6.17. Did they ask Jeremy about the list? He's in Illinois, right by me. Dark Uncle 77 latest shorts. Have you worried about all these small towns? Oh my God. Thank you, Get Cracked. What is he doing? Is he just still out on the road? What's up, JF? I never even knew Dark Uncle did content until he popped up on Jeremy's stream. I'd always seen him in HFF, though. But yeah, thank you, Get Crack. I do appreciate it, man.
After death, we all walk a passageway from one lifetime to the next. That passageway is called Bardo, a place where your karma, the sum total of your life's good and bad deeds,
You like Dark
determines
Uncle?
your next incarnation.
South the West.
In Catholicism, there is also a place between heaven and hell where souls are evaluated.
Catholicism certainly has the
Hi,
very
it's me,
definite,
Father Stephen
teachings
Frost.
about,
Me daughter, Nikki New.
purgatory. And purgatory, people usually think of it in negative terms.
That's
It's a
where
very
we're
positive
at. That's
thing.
what the void is,
I mean, you're on
purgatory.
the outskirts of heaven. You're sort of in the suburbs of the divine city.
See, purgatory is like you can't pass on until you've like learned a lesson. So all the people that we watch go through these loops, and they won't be able to pass on out of the void until they are able to close all those loops. Or I guess they would open the loops.
Like priest and a renowned religious scholar.
I think the idea of a state that exists after death that is not the ultimate experience quite yet, probably, well, I can't say it's as old as human consciousness, but certainly is right there in the beginning.
But how can we know that such a place exists? Catholics know because they have faith, but others say they know because they've been there.
When I floated away from my body, I looked down. I don't mean to insinuate that I still had a body and had eyes, but I could see everything around me. I could see that there was a woman who was crying, and as I got higher, I see in the distance there is something that I am going towards. I come up to it, and as I approach it, the shapes become more and more distinct.
Colleen Monahan believes that she had reached the very threshold of an afterlife. The vision occurred while she was exploring her past lives under hypnosis.
I could see that it was a person who was very tall and dressed in a robe.
I could see my eyes.
Rather like a monk. as I got even closer, probably as far as you and I are away right now, about 2 feet.
This is so bizarre.
I realized that
very large
person
collar.
was very was waiting for me.
Richard Wood is a real estate developer in Northern California. He does not know Colleen,
Richard Wood,
but the
okay.
recollections of a waiting room for the soul are almost identical.
As I was pulling back from the body that I had just left, I experienced...
Wait, he's talking about having a... I don't get it. How do you have a pre-life experience? So he's going back to like the state before... Because like we're just in the void, and then we pop in and we have consciousness for a minute, and then we blink back out again. He's saying he's visiting a time before he existed. That would be something.
Coming into this bright whiteness, and as it felt
like that would be a good time.
There was my spirit guide to meet me at that point.
Colleen and Richard are both clients of Dr. Michael Newton, a noted hypnotherapist and past life researcher.
A spirit guide is an individual entity who is very, very old.
It's interesting to see a time when old people were open-minded.
Being to meet people after death.
Dr. Newton lives in Grass Valley, California.
Grass
His book,
Valley,
Journey
yeah.
of Souls, contains case studies that he's compiled
mystical
over the
trad.
past 10 years.
That looks just like
I
Grace.
have learned.
Did they get Grace's permission to put her on the cover?
That when we speak of a spirit guide, we are talking about a higher entity, which is a teacher.
And so he led me into a ballroom. A huge ballroom filled with hundreds and hundreds of people.
Another piece of the Thorpe prophecy sliding into place.
For a party. And every single one of them in a good mood, jolly, happy to see me. Hi, how are you?
Oh, really? It's by Folsom?
Where have you
Wow.
been? It's good to see you back.
After my spirit guide, Arnon, met me, we went back to a teaching pod, which is a gathering or a group of other spirits that I'm a member of.
According to Dr. Newton, the teaching pod that Wood describes is a common thread among those who claim to have experienced this prelude to the afterlife.
Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a room.
You got to be in
without
a
anything in
teaching
it.
pod.
A room without walls. I know you don't want to do this, but it's true. And this is what this place looked like.
So what goes on in these classrooms?
You're popular
is
in this
essentially
life,
lesson
buddy.
learning. They review the lives just lived and how they compare to lives that they have lived before, and lives which are to be lived in the future in terms of what still needs to be learned.
This is a place that souls go to be restored.
Man, this is a
And that is
nightmare for
exactly
me psychologically.
What we need
This
after
is
living.
The
I don't know
ultimate
about
goal
this
of the
episode.
soul is to really stop reincarnating.
Oh my
because
God.
They have in fact learned
What the
all
fuck?
the lessons that they were intended to learn. They don't need physical bodies anymore to achieve this information.
Oh boy, that's
Dr.
weird.
Newton has come to believe that his clients must serve as messengers for the afterlife, and their message
Yeah,
is
just
one
get
of
her
hope
jogging
and
in
renewal.
slow motion, and
The
then him
most
reading the
startling
book
or
quietly,
incredible
and this guy
thing
dressed like Indiana
that I learned
Jones.
from my research has to be the fact that there is a God.
This experience has made me fall in love with my own life because
He seems like the kind of guy that would be a landlord that was ordinarily okay, but he'd be real mad if he tried to like sneak a woman in.
I am.
He'd always be like knocking
And I
on
know
your door.
that you are just
Do I
as
hear something in
important
there?
and complex and wonderful as I am.
What was that guy's name?
It's
The
allowing
on
me
the
to see
swinger
for
show.
myself, in my own life,
God damn
that
it.
there's no death.
Mr.
Fear for me, as there was.
I keep thinking Mr. McFeely, but that's the mailman on Mr. Rogers.
That we create these symbolic sort of dramas ourselves, whether they're dream experience or vision experience,
perfect cookie.
or different types of poetic experience that takes us into touch with things that
He
are
showed the paintings.
When
I remember,
walk through
didn't
an old
Stephen
cemetery
David
like
like even cam up and come on and read Ben's mom's book?
I think of these departed souls And it's comforting now, in light of all of the years of research I've spent, to know what really happened to them and that they are happy, and many of them have gone on to new lives.
Mr. Furley, there you go.
Skeptics debunk reincarnation by
Or no, was it, wait, hold on. Mr. Furley was the one who wanted to be included in the swinging. Mr. Roper was the guy who was like, had the nosy wife, and he was like always trying to shut down the fun. I feel like Mr. Furley was the guy, he just wanted to wet his beak, I think.
There are more living people on the earth right now than have ever died. So there just
Good
aren't
enough,
souls
smart
to go
enough,
around.
and gosh darn it, south to west
Believers
likes
counter
you.
that reincarnation is only one of many methods by which we
That's
achieve
that's
that
Ben's
supernatural
daily
energy
affirmation.
known as the soul.
Coming up, an entire family is abducted by extraterrestrials.
My husband woke up on a table being examined.
He wasn't
by
trying to get a
3
commitment, he
grays.
just wanted to get his
Can
beak
you
wet.
control luck?
I've seen myself winning the lottery twice.
Later, is there life on Mars?
It is the sheer terror that people recall most vividly when describing what they believe has been an alien abduction experience. But now, some abductees are claiming that, along with the momentary terror, they are experiencing a profound and positive long-term effect.
Wait, positive?
I woke up in the middle of the night, and I felt that there was someone alongside of the bed. And I reached my right hand out, and I touched the shoulder.
I used to freak out, like, thinking about when they tell the stories about the Men in Black showing up and, like, pounding on the door and asking you what you saw and all that kind of shit. I was like, that's fucked up. Because they seem just as, like, otherworldly or, like, evil as the aliens.
Shoulder of someone who
I gotta get a drink. I'll be right back.
probably the size of a 5-year-old. I was paralyzed. I couldn't move. It was total terror.
She has asked to use the pseudonym Judy. She does not want viewers to know who she is, only what she is, an abductee. Her terror began in 1989 and came to light after a local paper invited readers to call in with their UFO experiences.
She was very frightened. That came through loud and clear.
Reporter Holly Cogan knew Judy's call was different.
When I spoke with Judy, she came across as a very honest person. I had no reason to think that she was doing anything but saying what she believed.
She seems like a nice lady.
I went out to her home with the expectation that it was going to be interesting and legitimate.
Cogan's resulting article described a woman with a history of multiple abductions and vivid recollections of encounters with small gray creatures.
It was almost as
Ooh,
though
the
they
grays.
were saying, ready or not, here we come. But I didn't know at the time what was going on because I didn't know about alien abductions.
The impact of abductions on people's lives is
Ronald
a
Westrum.
very powerful one.
At Eastern Michigan University, sociology professor Dr. Ron Westrum has studied the impact of the abduction phenomenon on individuals and on society as a whole.
The person adapts and they just sort of somehow manage to work it into their life until every so often something happens to them that makes them suddenly confront, this really is happening. This is not just a dream. You can't just dismiss it.
For months,
It's gold,
Judy's
Jerry.
family did not believe the bizarre stories she was telling them about her abductions. But then, without warning, the terror that had isolated her from the family began to spread. Now, her husband and sister claimed that they were being abducted too. What was once a single case of alien abduction had now become what researchers term a multiple cross-generational family abduction.
What?
My husband and I had...
What was once a single case of alien abduction had now become what researchers term a multiple cross-generational family abduction.
A multiple cross-generational family abduction. Wow.
My husband and I had problems. We came close to a divorce over
Whoa.
this until he woke up on a table being examined by 3 grays. This is something that we didn't ask for, we didn't want, and it's totally changed our lives.
One night I went to bed and I had brushed my hair before I went to bed. The next morning I woke up and was doing my hair, and my hair had been cut to like an inch in certain spots on my head. And I went in and I checked my pillow. There was no hair on the pillow. And Nobody in the household had been in my bedroom that night.
Jane,
so
like
the
her
aliens
sister
were harvesting her hair, is that right? Yeah, they don't have the budget of unsolved mysteries,
Judy
unfortunately.
has grown to accept this as evidence of her abduction experience.
I just didn't bother really trying to figure out. I just took it that I had visitors. You know, I've grown up with it. It's like if you grow up with a limp, you get used to it.
The phenomena seems to be centered around me. And a little curiosity with the other family members, but the bulk of the phenomena
All the sightings money goes to that
directed at me.
guy that looks
Judy
like Groucho
believes that
Marx.
strange grass rings in the backyard are further evidence of UFO contact.
We noticed that in the wintertime they would be bright, lush green. The patterns have expanded where there are rings joining rings and different designs.
Dr. W.C. Levengood, a prominent research biophysicist known for his...
Okay, whatever. W.C. Livingood? Are you shitting me? W.C. Livingood. Okay.
study of crop. Dr. W.C. Levengood, a prominent research biophysicist known for his study of crop circles, was brought in to examine the unusual formations.
In the lush green areas, the respiration of the grass is entirely different or out of phase with the normal grass.
How do you know that?
There's a definite indication that there's electromagnetic energy involved in the formation of the circles and its effect on the plants.
Where does this anomalous energy come from? Could it come from an alien craft?
We have a lot of intriguing data, but I think we've just scratched the surface.
This seems to me like it would have been maybe like something they kind of slapped together to kind of maybe ride coattails of X-Files viewers or something like that. I mean, I like it. It's a fun show, but it's pretty clear they didn't really put a lot of time or money into it.
We do not understand
How's it going?
yet
W.C.
how these
Living Good.
energies are put together.
Although much of what Judy has experienced over the past 5 years is already familiar to abduction experts, she reports one astonishing incident that falls outside.
Did you see that weird camera angle?
I woke up and there was a gray by my side, left side, and he was putting in what appeared to be laser type objects in my brain. He put one in each temple, one here, and one in the back.
Okay.
And I was told that I would have an energy and that I would be able to help people who are ill.
Some abductees feel that after...
No way! Hold on. First of all, is this Mike Graham? Never drew a dime. Second off, is this a huge puzzle piece for Fusion Studios? This woman got visited by aliens, and then she had the ability to cure diseases and heal people. We've seen that in how many other people that we watch. Is that the common thread between all of them, that they've been visited by a UFO and had their brain laser harvested or laser enhanced or whatever?
Term from an abduction event, that they have increased powers, psychic powers or healing powers. This is extremely unusual. Judy has felt that she has the ability to have a therapeutic touch, so to speak.
Is that what happened to Eric McHenry?
And this might certainly be true. It's something that we can't dismiss out of hand, and it might be related to the abduction phenomenon if true. This has got to be very scientifically and objectively
Kim thinks that her dancing
investigated.
heals people.
Judy claims that she has helped hundreds of patients through her healing touch.
Wow, look at how handsy
including
she
one
is with
woman
this
who
old
had a
broad.
painful disease called shingles.
After about 3 minutes, I noticed I was beginning to feel very warm.
Wow.
And the area under her hands was intensely warm. And then my whole body began to feel tingly and just relaxed. And gradually the nausea and the sickness was just disappearing, even in 12 hours.
So this is literally what we're hearing, like no bullshit. She's talking about quantum healing, right? Just the ability to cure whatever just with your energy.
Some people for a lifetime disappeared. Mary believes it was Judy's touch that helped cure her.
I think Judy did help with the illness, I think she speeded up the process, and I firmly believe that she has abilities that are not like anything else I've seen before.
Judy believes that the terror she experiences during her abductions is the price she has to pay for her healing powers.
I saw the peace that came to people that were getting the treatments. I saw physical ailments that were being healed. And I decided,
well, she made this lady feel real warm and tingly.
Whether or not you believe that Judy has been repeatedly abducted by aliens, the fact remains that she is now providing a very important... Whether or not you believe that Judy has been repeatedly abducted by aliens, the fact remains that she is now providing a very important service to the sick and dying. While the source...
Who says that? Who says that? What? So he's just taking her at her word that she's healing these people and presenting it to us as fact? Come on.
Of her new outlook is debatable.
Come on,
Tim
White.
Outcome is not.
Next, he may be the luckiest man in America, but do we all have the same undiscovered abilities?
I won $7 million. It's incredible.
Luck would... What do you guys think if you could put your own, like... How important do you think... Well, first of all, I guess, like, do you believe in luck? This is what I need to talk to Bethadone about, is if she believes in luck and what role it plays in our lives. What's up, Jeremy? Like, do you think there are just some people who are always able to kind of, like, hit those critical roles that, like, let them bypass, you know, some life obstacles?
The odds of
and
winning
vice
the lottery
versa
may be more than 1 in a million, but every week people plunk down their hard-earned cash in the hope that this time they'll be the one. This time they'll be that lucky one. But is it simply luck that turns a wishful thinker into an instant millionaire?
When I end this stream, I'll try to hop on and see if she'll have a quick chat with me about luck.
In your favor. According to the dictionary, luck is random, a spontaneous event out of conscious control. But lucky charms, talismans, and superstitions suggest that humankind has a different definition.
It means different things to different people. I believe that the conventional...
Wait a minute, didn't we just see this guy as W.C. Living Good? Now he's William Vitulli, Ph.D. Wait, University of Southern Alabama?
Is happiness, good fortune.
A research psychologist at the University of South Alabama, Dr. Vitulli has studied both the psychological and mathematical components of luck.
I think another aspect of luck that can't be ignored is the more statistical view in which luck is a product of a series of random events.
I'm living happy today. Today I'm a wealthy man.
Bernie Bobowitz.
And I can do whatever I want. Travel, whatever.
Many people consider Bernie Bobowitz the luckiest man on earth.
I think we might have already watched this episode, I feel like.
When Bernie bought 3 New York State lottery tickets.
Checking the first ticket.
You think luck is just...
And I automatically start circling winning numbers.
Putting yourself in a position to, like... But that's like would be the non-cooperational gameplay theory view on it, is that you put yourself into the best possible position to take advantage of any opportunities that came along. I meant more like maybe like dumb luck, you know?
Then I realized I had 5 winning numbers on my first ticket. So I checked the second ticket. And it was the same
Made
numbers.
It 32 minutes in before I figured out. I think we'd seen this one.
The only thing was 1 digit different. And I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I said, this is incredible.
I sure don't remember some of this other stuff,
Going through the rest of my tickets, I have another ticket with 4. 3 winning tickets. Incredible.
Bernie hit the jackpot to the tune of $3.5 million. He was that 1 in a million lottery winner. And a few years later, he won again.
I happened to be going through my mother's old Bible, and I got these numbers out of the Bible. And I just got a funny feeling. Bernie played them. I did. And I won $7 million. It's incredible.
What?
Is Bernie a multimillionaire because he had a psychic hunch? Or is he somehow blessed by a higher power? Statisticians say he is neither.
I think as humans, we need explanations for things that happen to us. And
Jessica
when we
Oots.
attach words like luck or fate or words like that, we're simply trying to explain things that we can't explain any other way.
As a professor of statistics at the University of California at Davis, Jessica Utz specializes in the study of chance and probability.
I think a lot of luck is paying attention, applying what we know about increasing your probability of having good things happen to you.
See, there you go. Increasing the probability of having good things happen to you. But they're assigning it like a... like, to me, that is absolutely a great formula for success, to put yourself in those positions. But I feel like at that point, it's not luck, because, like, you've earned it. Like, you've put the work in. I tend to think of more of luck as being just, like, having a higher chance of whatever you're doing succeeding, whether you put in much effort or not. Does that make sense? Like, just kind of not Bill Gates luck, but like Mr. Magoo luck.
Or decreasing your probability of having bad things happen to you. I also think that using your intuition can increase what we call...
Her real last name was
I think
Butts.
we have a lot of information in our minds that we're not even aware of.
Bernie agrees that it was his intuition that made him a millionaire.
I seen myself winning the lottery twice. It happened. I see I'm winning a third time. And not only a third time, but even a fourth and fifth time. I can see this. And it will happen. It definitely
I
will
swear
happen.
to God, I remember that guy, but I don't remember any of this other stuff.
The odds are incredibly remote.
I think the only thing I really remember is that I remember this guy, and I remember him shaking hands with that guy behind the counter, but I don't remember any of the rest of this episode or even any of this segment.
Nevertheless, this individual may personally assume that their chances are much better than others who haven't won. This individual has been reinforced and rewarded for their ventures, and therefore they're more likely to...
Like someone who takes really good care of their weapon and keeps it clean and maintained, they're not going to have a jam, or their chances of having a jam are very low because they are so prepared and efficient and, you know, disciplined. But I'm talking about somebody who just like never, like in a game, like you would never clean your weapon or whatever, but like in the moment when you needed it to work, it would work regardless of anything else you did.
Believe that they could try again and indeed win.
Remarkably, there is scientific evidence to support the theory that intuition is a significant factor in changing your luck. In one experiment, cascading balls generate random or chance
plot
numbers.
armor.
Dr. Utz has found that some people observing the cascading balls can anticipate the numbers before they appear. Parapsychologists call
cascading
it
balls.
ability.
You can't predict the outcome, but you can assign probabilities to different outcomes. The same may be true of the future, that there are probable
That's
futures,
non-cooperational
and that some of
gameplay
those
theory. You
futures are
can't
actually more
control the
likely than
outcome.
others.
You just
And it
focus
may
on getting
be
your
that certain
percentage
people
as
can
high
pick
of
up on
success as
which
high
of
as
those futures
possible.
are more likely.
Buddhism has embraced this concept and given it a name, karma.
Good karma or positive karma will lead to
Dr.
happiness,
Ken
essentially.
Tanaka.
But according to Dr. Tanaka, the Western concept of luck bringing material wealth is not the kind of luck that comes to those with good karma.
Happiness is essentially inside. Luck is something that's outside. You can win a lottery and win $1 million, but that does not assure happiness within.
So, is the converse true? Are some people bad luck magnets? Danny New has been plagued by accidents his entire life.
Cousin to
Pat.
Pat.
You're in a mini truck driving down the freeway, and the driver was not paying attention to what he was doing and lost control of the vehicle and ended flipping the vehicle on the freeway. I almost felt the lightning before I heard the lightning because it was so close. It was like an explosion next to me. The actual sound waves is what knocked me down. I was probably doing 50, 55 miles an hour, and just at the last minute I saw the cement culvert and I crashed headlong into it.
The majority of bad luck can be explained by choices that people make that have logical explanations, like not wearing their seatbelt, going out
Or you can blame it on being shadow banned in the algorithm.
during a lightning storm, that sort of thing. And if people see a repeating pattern of so-called bad luck, they should examine what they could have done to change the circumstances.
Recently,
show off
Danny
gold
New has
helmet.
begun scrutinizing his past, and
Okay,
not
big man.
surprisingly, his luck is changing.
If you want to make steel stronger, you put it through fire.
Stephen
And that's
P.
how I was
News,
looking
brother.
at it. I don't look at it as bad luck. I look at it as, you know, some people need
Didn't he
strong
have a
knock on the
beard or
head to
something
wake
a minute
up.
ago?
Some people just need a little tap on the
Isn't
shoulder.
that going
I was
crazy?
the kind that needed a strong rap on the head.
For some people, lucky charms are a reminder that they can change their own luck. But Bernie
What a
Bobowitz
badass.
doesn't need any reminders. While sightings
Hey,
was
give me
taping
some more
Bernie
of
for
those
this
lottery
report,
tickets.
He cashed in a winning $300 lottery ticket.
I go to New York, Jersey, and then when I get up in California, I play up there also. So no matter where I go, I'll just pay a few dollars just for the heck of it, and I win money.
Even the most hardened skeptics are reluctant to press their luck. Corporate America may not accept the reality of psychic ability, supernatural phenomena, or UFOs. But have you noticed that they don't have a 13th floor in their office buildings either?
Oh, touche.
Next, what do the latest scientific discoveries tell us about life
I
elsewhere in
don't
the
think we've
universe?
seen this one. I sure don't remember some of this
supports
stuff.
the belief that life exists on other worlds.
But I swear I remember that guy.
Most scientists dismiss the idea of alien life forms as utterly impossible. But recently,
You know what? I
startling
think it's
discovery-
part of his luck thing, right? Part of luck is like would be having an easier time navigating social situations. So like he's just the kind of guy you see him and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that guy. That's part of his skill.
discovery in outer space has even some of the country's most ardent skeptics reconsidering their position. For the first time in history, we may finally have proof that there is a spark of life beyond Earth.
What do you mean?
We use our intellect to try to understand this universe and to try to understand our place
Jeffrey
in the universe.
Cargill.
Why do we exist?
Yes, thank you.
The origin of life on Earth. It's a question that astronomers try to answer by looking
This is a
at the
soul-crushing
cosmos.
episode.
And recently, one tiny piece of the puzzle fell into place when NASA astronomers used the Hubble telescope to confirm the existence of
Oh,
black
someone who has
holes.
luck like that? Yeah.
And the reason this is important
When I
is
was
that
a
black
kid, there was a
holes are
comic
more
book
than just
character that
some
was called
science
Long
fiction,
Shot, who had
fantastic
like that was kind
phenomenon.
of his power,
It's
but
our
it was really
first
subtle.
glimpse of the edge of the universe as we know it.
As a science writer for the San Francisco Examiner, Key Davidson is continually revising his definition of space.
It's important to remember that a black hole is something that
Now listen, a
defies
black
space
hole.
and time as we intuitively think of them. We tend to think of space and time as things that are absolute.
The gravitational pull is so strong that nothing can escape
Duccio
from it, not even
Macetto.
a beam of light. That is why we call it black hole.
According to Hubble project specialist Duccio Macetto, a black hole's extraordinary gravitational pull has the ability to capture the essence of the cosmos.
Oh man, this is
We
fucked
begin
up.
to get a better view, a better understanding of how the universe as a whole works, of how galaxies are formed, how stars are formed, how they
Oh, man,
evolve,
I can't think
and
about
how
that
we
right
came
now.
to be.
Think of a black hole as a cosmic factory where
Okay.
raw materials are sucked in and then transformed into stars, planets, and galaxies. If this is true, then perhaps life in outer space can be created in the same way.
That would
And
fall in
recently,
place
one of the
with what Marshall Applewhite had to say about it, which was the idea that we were going to be we were about to be recycled, like we were about to be pulled in by the black hole and then churned back out again as a fresh start or whatever.
Raw materials of life has been discovered floating in space. An amino acid called glycine.
Speaking of, we need
It
to
would be
do
sort
that
of like
next
finding
week.
a
We need to
brick
get back to
floating around
Marshall
space. From that, you
Applewhite.
could infer the existence of brick houses in outer space.
Brick
now, we don't know
house,
for sure
brown,
that this
in outer
glycine
space.
means that larger amino acid structures are forming in space, but it's a clue that the formation of the building blocks of life is a routine thing in the universe.
If the building blocks of life are to be found routinely in space, can we presume that Earth is the only living planet? According to many scientists, no.
Mars is the best prospect in the solar system at the moment for another life form.
Jay Malouche.
Planetary scientist Jay Malash theorizes
Damn.
that catastrophic collisions between celestial bodies millions of years ago could have sent enormous chunks of our planet hurtling into space.
For example, the impact that killed the dinosaurs 65 million years ago left a crater.
I really do think Guillermo del Toro is a great filmmaker. I watched both Hellboys recently, and I watched his version of Pinocchio.
Microorganisms that would then be transported through space and fall on Mars.
Dude, Pinocchio
And if
was
these planetary
amazing.
fragments carried life from Earth to Mars eons ago, could the reverse also be true?
We have in our laboratories and museums chunks of Mars that have come to the Earth. Maybe terrestrial life has its roots on Mars. Maybe we're all evolved Martians.
But for life to exist, there must be water. Geologist Jeff Cargill has found evidence that water once flowed on Mars.
What do you think? Are we evolved
Mars
Martians?
is extremely water rich. Now, most of its water is in the form of ice. It's a cryogenic planet today. There are certainly abundant indications that liquid water flowed on the surface.
And some astrogeologists believe that microbes in a state of cryogenic suspension exist under Martian ice today.
I'm reading a book too about
Life
his
is very
house,
imaginative,
like his
and
collections
it finds
of
ways
shit.
of adapting to an extraordinary range of environments.
What's up? It's me.
We find living creatures in hot springs in Yellowstone. We find them living beneath the ice.
I bet
of
ATF
Antarctica.
media thinks that's like a
And I have
farting
no
bubble.
doubt that given enough time,
Giving off a
life
gasser.
forms could
Oh no,
exist
we gotta
on
make it
Mars just as
inside.
they exist on the Earth.
Less than 100 years ago,
Man, what a
nanosecond
rush.
in cosmic time, we rode in horse-drawn buggies and depended on the Pony Express. Today, we're sending a robot to mine the surface of Mars. It may be sooner than we think before we have the ability to make contact with alien life forms we can only dream about today.
Sightings has expanded its America Online area. Keyword sightings when
Yeah.
you log on for access to sightings.
Maybe it's because I was really
images, and
high, but
events.
that was a really great episode of Sightings. Like, holy shit. I felt like just about every story in there was pretty good. Shout out to
subscribe to America
season
Online,
4,
call 1-800-591-3344,
season 3, episode 25.
And you can still reach sightings 24 hours
Oh, I
a day.
thought we were
at
watching season 4, episode 3. I'm sorry.
1-933-7444.
Until next time, remember, no mystery is closed to an open mind.
What a great
For
episode,
Sightings, I'm Tim White.
though. It looks like it. I think this is when I tried to get the thing off of.
An exclusive sightings investigation uncovers a classified UFO military tape.
It doesn't resemble any shapes that I would know.
Why does this UFO have the Air Force running scared?
This was my first encounter seeing anything of this nature.
Plus, was a Sasquatch shelter discovered in Ohio?
It was big enough for 3 of us to go and sit in comfortably.
The Bigfoot mystery continues with more eyewitnesses on the next Sightings.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They lowered the price over time, but yeah. Average call time 3 minutes.
An exclusive Sightings investigation uncovers a classified UFO.
Is different. It was shot in late 1994 in the government's own backyard.
Bethadone voice. Oh, yeah. She sent me a message the other day on Discord in the Buffalo Beth voice, and then she messaged back a few minutes later, and she's like, oh my god, I think I was doing that Buffalo Beth thing you're always talking about.
Welcome to Sightings. I'm Tim White. The videotape you're about to see is different. It was shot in late 1994 in the government's own backyard.
I don't know. I feel now I'm always thinking we've already seen them, but I want to watch. I don't care because it's got it's hard to say. We've seen so many alien autopsies, but this one has a alien autopsy, so I want to watch it.
The super secret Nellis test range in
You guys
southern
don't care
Nevada.
if we've already seen them,
Had the
do you?
tape not been smuggled out, it might well have been classified by authorities. The base employees in this report appear at considerable professional risk, and therefore their identities have been heavily disguised.
Look at this news trad back here.
Remote-controlled cameras monitor the 7,700 square miles of airspace above the Nellis Range. The cameras record fighter jet training, tactical exercises, and in at least one case, this UFO. The video from a tracking location known only as S30 was fed into Nellis Air Force Base in Las Vegas. Personnel there monitor what is supposed to be classified data about aircraft runs over the 3 million acres of desert that make up the Nellis Range. An unknown aircraft making its way onto the complex, says aerospace journalist Bill Sweetman, is not considered standard operating procedure.
Oh my gosh.
Says aerospace journalist.
Look at this. Oh man, wow. This is so like 90s. Look at all this shit. He's got these books. He's got a fucking gigantic printer, huge speakers. He's got like a record player, cassette player, a big block phone, a calculator or a adding machine, another set of speakers, a desk lamp. Oh, he's also got a headset on, and he's taking physical pen and paper notes.
Bill Sweetman is not considered standard operating procedure.
I don't think you'd really see many objects wandering in by accident. They're very, very careful to ensure that sort of thing doesn't happen. The potential for serious accidents if somebody is really straying into the range is very, very serious.
And yet, something obviously did stray in, and it frightened the camera's remote-controlled operators.
This craft shows up, and it's like they're playing with kids. It's like, do whatever they want and buy now. That's scary. I've never seen anything like this before. This was my first encounter seeing anything of this
It's
nature.
why we never see his computer.
And I've been working the ranges for close to 10 years.
It seemed to move in whichever direction it wanted to go whenever it wanted to, contrary to any aircraft that I've seen in the past.
Chuck DeCaro is a former member of U.S. Special Forces, specializing in state-of-the-art military technology. He has analyzed hours of video footage of supposed UFOs.
Wow, get a job.
But he has never seen anything like the Nellis UFO.
Who sits around analyzing hours of video?
My first look at that tape, I said, wow. And I continue to say, wow. There are only 3 things that
You know, when I
tape.
first took a look at these tapes, I said to myself, wow. I look at them now and I say to myself, wow.
One is a very elaborate and very expensive hoax. I don't think that's what we're seeing. The second is some kind of a black project, a secret project that has some very unusual aerodynamic characteristics. And the third, if you can eliminate all those aerodynamic answers, could be a true unknown. And if that is an unknown, if you can come to that conclusion, you got a pretty interesting piece of history right there.
Well, you missed Eric McGanus farting yesterday during his
government subcontractor
deep dive.
who uses the same image analysis computer as the Department
I'm saying
of Defense
wow now.
to analyze the S30 tapes. He has asked to remain anonymous.
The video appears to be genuine. Specifically, it was taken by contractor personnel that are operating tracking sites for the United States Air Force.
Could the Nellis UFO be a rare glimpse at a military black project? The
Yes,
stealth
of
bomber
course.
is one former black project tested in Nevada, and early on misidentified by civilians as a UFO. But our sources insist that when black projects are tested, the tracking cameras are deactivated.
Aren't airplanes weird?
The camera operators and the tracking
Feels like an
sites
affront
are
to
not
God.
exposed to those highly classified aircraft on a typical basis.
Chuck DeCaro and the government video engineer compared notes on the possibility that this UFO was a black project.
What's startling about it is that it doesn't resemble any shapes that I would know immediately. And that's why I thought it was interesting to start with.
It almost appears to be like spherical in the center and with an appendage on the bottom and on the top. You don't see any evidence of rotors.
No. And also the startling thing is it seems to change shape.
Another anomalous characteristic of the object is its apparent ability to change shape instantaneously.
The physical profile of the object changes almost frame to frame. Sometimes it appears almost to be a fuzzy, gassy cloud. In some portions of the video, it appears to be several spherical objects
This is giving me a
surrounding
headache.
a dark mass.
To get a better look at the flight characteristics of the Nellis UFO, Sightings consulted with Chip Peterson, a video processing expert.
I love seeing all the desks.
And enhanced several minutes of the S-30 video.
I basically moved each frame. And you can see the frames actually moving now, showing the degree that I had to move the image in order to keep this object stable in the center.
The stabilized image clearly shows the odd shape of the object shifting and turning in the sky.
I then took the numbers one by one and reconstructed.
Okay, is it changing shape, though, or is it pulsating light that makes it appear to be changing shape, right?
Constructed the flight path, and that's the only way I could determine what the actual motion was. And I recreated that in 3 dimensions. It's initially heading away from the camera.
People watching this on VOD are wondering why we're watching the same 3 episodes as just the previous episode.
The range is increasing. It's actually going away from the camera. And at this point, it changes direction. Wind wouldn't do that. It wouldn't change that abruptly. And it wouldn't follow a constant radius throughout this entire portion here. It's all at constant distance from the camera. It's as if it's observing the ground position just as the ground is observing it and maintaining this constant distance.
Based on his knowledge as an aerospace engineer, Peterson offered one possible explanation for the abrupt turns performed by the UFO.
You could interpret it as if it determined it was on radar at this point. Perhaps if you're on radar, of course, you can sense that in all of our fighter planes. You know when you're being tracked. As soon as you get a lock where you get this radar signal, it would seem to me that this object was interested in who's observing it, and it turned in order to find out.
When something starts to change shape like that in the air, you become very, very puzzled because you realize that you're looking at something that appears.
Did I already say I thought that guy kind of looked like he was created by Jim Henson?
What you want to do, of course, is go and find the person
the Jim Henson Company.
And say, whatever made you think of that, and what does it do, and how does it do it?
But we will probably never know who created this new technology. Questions about the earthly or otherworldly origins of the Nellis UFO are unanswerable. Until the mastermind behind this craft comes forward, there is only speculation and fear.
Like us viewing an ant farm.
There's only speculation and fear.
That's the scary part.
To this day, the origin of the UFO has not been determined. Sightings forwarded a copy of the Nellis videotape to the Pentagon requesting an official response. As of this broadcast, the Air Force has not responded.
Can you imagine?
Next, for 25 years, Debbie
Can you
Palmer's
take a look at
friends
this
and family
video
have been
and
tortured by one
give an
agonizing
explanation?
question. What happened to Debbie?
I knew she was.
Yeah, I remember the Debbie story, but I think it was a good one.
A young woman disappears. No sign of foul play, no known enemies, no trace. When Deborah Palmer's family reported her missing, the police didn't know if she'd been kidnapped, murdered, or had simply walked away from her life. After finding no evidence of a crime, the search for Deborah Palmer was suspended. But in a sad paradox, the very circumstances that caused the police to stop looking are what continue to give her family hope that Deborah will be found.
Catherine Douglas.
Someone out there knows what happened to Debbie.
What happened to Debbie?
Debbie Palmer was the archetypal girl next door. At 18, she was a model and a beauty queen, a fun-loving friend, an adoring daughter.
Fun-loving
Her life was filled
friend.
with promise, with a bright future ahead, and the home and family she hoped to have one day. Debbie dreamed of being in the headlines, but when that dream came true in 1970, the headline read, "Feared Dead."
Debbie and I were
Wow,
like
what a
sisters.
comment to make.
She was a fun-loving, sweet child that never met a stranger. Everybody was her friend, and she was just precious.
She loved to ride horses. She was a people person. She loved people. She got along well with everybody.
For 25 years, Ann
ATF,
Palmer has
what do you
lived
think
with
about
the
her
grief
necklace?
And uncertainty of not knowing what happened
Detach
to her
your
daughter,
emotions.
Debbie.
What do you think
Even
about just
now,
the
she holds
necklace?
out hope that Debbie is alive.
When she first disappeared, I kept hearing her voice say, "Mom, I'm all right. Mom, I'm all right."
Ann was an actress, a model, and a single mother. In 1950,
You think we watched this in May of 2025? Really?
Before, she packed up 3-year-old Debbie and left Dallas for Hollywood. They were a family of 2, and mother and daughter were exceptionally close. Ann says their bond went beyond love.
Debbie and I had a very powerful psychic connection. When she was a teenager and she would be out late, I could simply think, Debbie, where are you? Almost within
I mean, I feel like it holds
a matter
up.
of 15 minutes, the phone would ring, or she'd come home.
Shortly before her 19th birthday, Debbie returned to Dallas and moved into her first apartment.
I thought you might
She
have
was so
something to say
popular
about the
among
necklace.
tenants at the Carrollwood Apartments, they named her Miss Carrollwood. She seemed to know everyone and had a very active social life. The apartment complex would be the last place anyone remembered seeing Debbie Palmer. She vanished on September 8, 1970.
We're never going to find our place
I didn't
again,
know she'd
and I'm
vanished at
completely out of
first.
it.
She'd been missing for 4 days at that point, and so
How
we
many
called the
times, though, did we
police.
watch sightings between May 2025 and now? I think the last time was in December, maybe. It was a few months ago, I think. Or a couple months ago.
And the police said, she's 18, there's nothing we can do. We can't look for her. There's no foul play indicated.
Debbie in
and
Dallas.
Then it was terror.
Debbie disappears
Once
in
an
Dallas.
intense search did begin, the trail had grown cold. The only significant break in the case came 2 full weeks after her disappearance, the discovery of 2 packed suitcases in the woods north of Dallas.
I got a call one day from Plano, Texas, from the police department, and they said they had found her luggage and that we could come over and claim it. Now it was just going to be a matter of time till they found her body.
But Debbie's body was never found. There were no
Oh,
signs
man,
of foul
talk about
play
dark
or a
turn.
reason for Debbie to run. In police work, there are just so many roads you can travel before you hit a dead end.
It is a mystery because we can't determine whether there was foul play involved,
Sergeant
whether she's
Jim
a
Chandler.
victim of a crime, or she simply, on her own, simply walked away from her life as it existed then and is still alive somewhere.
I looked for her at every street for 15
Well, committing
years.
to a
I
second
looked
wrestling day really
everywhere
tied
for
me
her.
up
I knew I was
programming
gonna
wise
find her. I knew
and
she was
bringing back
coming
prime
back to me.
time.
Nothing that we heard gave us really hope. I had to keep the hope going.
Roy Brockaway was the sheriff of neighboring Kaufman County. He
Not
was a
like
family
earlier
friend
when
who
F.
became
Wood
closely
lured me
involved
into a
in the
debate about
investigation.
legalizing all
We
drugs.
just never have come across anything that has indicated to us what happened to Debbie.
Sightings brought world-renowned psychic detective Dorothy Allison
Oh
to
no,
Dallas
Dorothy's
to
back.
work with the former sheriff. As he drove near Debbie's last known address, Dorothy began to express strong psychic impressions of Debbie.
Oh shit.
There's this one forest area where it's real isolated, where I believe that girl was taken.
Yes, if you've done a murder or anything like that, there is places out here that you can put a body that probably could never be found.
Wow.
Although she did not know where the suitcases had been located, Dorothy guided Roy to a location eerily nearby.
Roy, this is the kind of a scene that I actually saw her in. It seems exactly like this spot here.
Dorothy's last stop was the Carrollwood Apartments. Outside Debbie's apartment, Dorothy attempted to psychically reconstruct the final hours before her disappearance.
What happened that night was that they had a very bad argument. She was with this one
I think
fellow
after
that she had been
tomorrow, it's
going
probably
with
going
for
to be a
while.
minute before we do
And she
another
wanted to
Thorpe
get
deep
rid of him.
dive, because that's the
And
kind
he
of the
said he was
last
going out
available
to the
one I
store
really wanted to
someplace,
go
but I believe he went to
super
pick up
deep
some
on.
drugs.
So
And then
that'll
all of a
free
sudden,
up
this
some
other
space
fellow
for
comes
something.
along. I feel that she was getting rid of one to go with the other. It was a violent fight. I mean, he was really going at it. So he takes her and he promises her to take her to a doctor, but instead where he takes her is to kill her.
Could Debbie Palmer have been murdered?
I'm sure you could do it. You could just set up like, well, you could just make your own playlist, I guess. But does YouTube have it where you can just like randomize a playlist? I just like to have a bunch of episodes of like primetime, sightings, like Memphis wrestling, even like maybe Takedown with Chris Hansen, just a whole bunch of like cool shows, and then just have it like completely mix, like randomize how they're shown.
As Dorothy's psychic vision seemed to suggest,
Ben
the
Ford.
scenario of jealousy, violence, and drug abuse certainly doesn't fit Debbie's wholesome image. But after Dorothy's psychic revelations, those who knew Debbie best admitted she could have been led astray.
It could have been the boyfriend. It was a party Thursday night is where she disappeared. And she said she was going to have a little talk with him. And then nobody remembers seeing her again. And it's possible she went to have
I was
that
cracking
little talk
up
with
Mr.
him,
Palu during
and he didn't like what she was saying,
debate.
and he lost his temper and killed her. That's a possibility that's been in my mind all these years.
Dorothy showed Sharon the notes from her psychic impressions. Because legal charges have yet to be filed, we asked them to refrain
I
from
would also
mentioning
put in all the
actual names
Heaven's
of
Gate
suspects.
Now here's a list of
tutorials.
the names that I have written down. And you can tell, only you can tell me if you recognize anything there.
Without calling names, the first and the last name of the man she was dating, that she was going to have the little talk with to break up with him, his first and last name are both here. And in between is, you have my grandmother's maiden name.
I've been mainly watching
Debbie's
VP, but
family
she's
and
been
friends
streaming
were
like a
amazed at
lot.
Dorothy's accuracy about the small details of Debbie's life. But believing Dorothy means confronting the probability that Debbie is dead.
How
Wow.
can you say what it's like for 25 years to look for somebody?
I will always hope and follow every lead to believe that she might still be alive somewhere in the world today.
Since our investigation in Texas, Debbie Palmer's cousin Sharon has contacted the Texas State Police. She presented the new psychic evidence generated by Dorothy Allison. According to State Police official Jim Chandler, this is not the kind of evidence that they feel.
I think that the Thorpes may have a deep, dark secret in common with Eric McHenry, if you guys know what I'm talking about.
Justifies
When
a
it comes to
reopening
their
of the Palmer
sleep
case.
schedule, the reason for it.
Next, medical science discovers auras. And evidence that California's Mammoth Mountain is really a mountain of doom.
Here are some of the stories sightings is following in the news. Geologic discoveries near Mammoth Mountain in Northern California indicate to some that the dire prophecies of futurist Gordon Michael Scallion could be coming true. The picturesque landscape of Mammoth Mountain, California is deceiving.
Be
Beneath this
serious,
pristine forest, there
ATF
is
media.
a boiling, seething lake of molten earth poised to unleash its fury.
That the earth is going to open up
Hey, George
in California,
Carlin.
and I can tell you exactly where it will open up. It'll happen between Bakersfield
Future map.
and the Baja to Eureka.
While scientists do not take Scallion's prediction seriously, they do agree that the Mammoth area is a volatile location.
I like that
Scallion's
line.
prediction seriously.
The Baja to Eureka.
While scientists do not take Scallion's prediction seriously, they do agree that the Mammoth area is a volatile location.
It's clear that there's going to be eruptions there in the future. And it's clear that large areas there will be covered with ash and be destroyed.
State University of New York volcanologist Marcus Bursick warns that recent earthquake activity has unleashed a fresh torrent of magma under the Mammoth Lakes area.
Fresh what?
Activity has unleashed a fresh torrent of magma under the Mammoth Lakes area. The effect is similar to shaking a bottle of champagne and releasing carbon dioxide bubbles. But unlike champagne, the concentrations of carbon dioxide under the earth are deadly. Evidence
Unlike
that these poisonous
champagne.
gases are already working their way to the surface was discovered on Mammoth Mountain. Hundreds of trees here were killed by lethal emissions from
Tim
the
White,
volatile magma
underrated.
below.
There's a lot of volcanoes in that area, and several of them showed an effect from the Landers earthquake. So this magma is sitting there stewing underneath the surface, and it's emitting this carbon dioxide along
Unlike
with other gases.
champagne.
The last time Mammoth Mountain erupted, approximately 700,000 years ago, a dense volcanic cloud blocked out the sun and covered the western United States in a thick layer of
700,000
ash.
years ago?
Today, there are those who believe the long dormant volcano's time has come again.
700,000 years ago? Like, do you know how long ago that was? Like, that's crazy to even fathom that.
In the fall of 1967, something strange crashed into the water off Shag Harbor, Nova Scotia. Since
What
then,
was even
UFO
happening
investigator
at that
Chris
time?
Stiles has been building an impressive document trail indicating that the Canadian government
Oh
knows
yeah,
more
the
about
the guy that
crash
had the
than they're willing to
communion
tell.
book.
I believe that this was
Chris Stiles.
advice
Woo!
from another intelligent civilization, not of this earth.
Now, Chris Stiles and Sightings are mounting a new full-scale investigation to scour the ocean floor beneath Shag Harbor in search of UFO debris. Our findings
Shag
in an
Harbor.
upcoming edition of Sightings.
Hey, F-Wood.
Researchers at Pennsylvania State University are confirming with technology what some holistic healers have felt for years.
No way. Do you remember this? Really? I do not remember this infrared healing.
With the onset of disease.
Well, this is a picture that shows basically the distribution of the magnetic field of a human body.
Michael Smith and his colleagues at the Penn State Magnetic Resonance Imaging Lab are
I feel like I would have
breakthrough
remembered
technology for surgeons.
It can show them
maybe I was getting a
positions
drink.
of, say, for instance, a tumor. It can show them
what's
the
with this
presence of
camera
a tumor
angle
or a disease that they're not aware of, and it really gives them a visual way to look into the human body and see what's wrong.
So that's the safe and give you a high resolution, also give you the image of the soft tissue.
The future of MRI technology offers tantalizing possibilities, but so far it is only a diagnostic tool.
I think the comparison between holistic methods and techniques and MRI should be viewed, with caution.
Oh my God, this is a nightmare
to be useful
for the
to
senses.
diagnose their disease.
We'll have more stories from the news next time. Now, here's what's coming up on Sightings.
Dolores Wheeler loved her husband so much, she saved his life 12,000 miles away. And are these pictures of an alien autopsy an incredible find or an incredible fraud?
I feel like I remember the lady, saving her husband's life.
For nearly 50 years, UFO researchers have been looking for the smoking gun that will prove once and for all that the government is lying about the incident at Roswell, New Mexico. And now, Sightings correspondent Carla Wohl reports that newly discovered film of a bizarre autopsy is adding fuel to the Roswell fire.
Since January 1995, the hottest news on the World Wide Web of UFO devotees is this photo, allegedly an extraterrestrial from the Roswell crash site being autopsied by the U.S. military. It's the UFO story of the decade.
Tombé du ciel.
This is an injury, and that deep wound is consistent with high temperature burns.
If this is truly genuine, then it becomes the focus of worldwide recognition that indeed our planet's being visited, that indeed governments have known for 48 years and haven't told.
I know for sure that we've probably seen this, but we have seen this guy in other episodes. He's the guy that makes like the really weird eye gestures.
The world will never be the same. Have known that indeed our planet's being visited, that indeed governments have known for 48 years and haven't told us. The world will never be the same again.
Rumors of a Roswell autopsy film go back to 1993. London music promoter Ray Santilli told Bufora, the British UFO Research Association, that he had unearthed a bizarre 16mm movie in a private film vault.
Ray Santilli said, I have got my hands on some material. I know nothing about Roswell, but I'm being told by the man who sold this to me that he was in fact a military cameraman with the United States military back in 1947. And he said that this was the official record, US government record, of an event which occurred there, i.e. a crashed UFO and the recovery of aliens and, of course, that
flying disc.
Kent Jeffrey is the author of the Roswell Declaration, a petition calling for the declassification of all government documents on Roswell. He eagerly anticipated the release of the autopsy film.
When I first heard about the film, I was very hopeful. I thought that we finally had what we'd been looking for in the way of evidence to prove this case. However, in the ensuing months, as I learned more and more facts about the film, I became less and less optimistic.
Now, Santilli says he has had it authenticated. He went to Kodak, and they said, yes, this is film stock from the 1940s.
Kodak did not authenticate the film. What Santilli did was go to Kodak and get clarification on the edge markings. The edge markings on the film are a square and a triangle. That signifies that the film was manufactured in either 1927 or 1947 or 1967. The only thing Kodak did was to verify that that is the case, that those edge markings signify those years.
That was like an
Rand
OG
Molnar,
fact
Dean
checker.
of the Brooks Institute of Photography, finds it highly suspicious that Santilli went no further in his attempts to authenticate the film.
If this were a legitimate film with historical
Hi, my
value,
name is
then I
Ron
would think he would
Molnar.
take every measure possible to try to get this authenticated. Taking it to an expert, to someone here or elsewhere, they could look at the film, analyze it, and then make a determination on whether it's actually legitimate, or if it should be tested further, or if there's something else that can be done with it to try to authenticate it, what event is transpiring on it, supposedly.
The dissemination of information from Ray Santilli in London is extremely unorthodox. It is extremely unusual for research of any kind to be carried out in this way.
Rather than release the film in its entirety, Santilli selectively leaked small portions of the film at invitation-only screenings. Many in attendance left unconvinced.
I still had a great deal of hope when I went over there to see the film.
You think it's legit?
However, from the first few frames, I realized that this was a hoax, that this was a human body on that table.
You realize what you're saying. You're saying that they used a human body, a dead person, to perpetrate this hoax.
That is not only my opinion, but the opinion of most of the medical people who have seen this film now. And
what's quantifiable about that? Most of the medical people who have seen this film, how does he back that up?
Makes it one of the most despicable hoaxes ever perpetrated.
Can I move the head side to side?
Makeup effects artist Steve Johnson built the aliens for the movie Roswell. He agrees that the autopsy film is a hoax, that it's not flesh and blood you're seeing, but a ripoff of his special effects creations.
Could you have done this? At the risk of sounding pompous, yes, I could have done it a lot better. But the main thing is, it never proves once to me that this is a dead body.
Was 16?
For instance, when they make incisions, they will begin the incision.
Was this 95? What a great year 95 was, man.
From a special effects technician's point of view, they used every trick that I would have asked a director to use had a director come to me and said, I want to do this great autopsy scene.
What are some of the tricks that you think they use specifically?
Human bodies do not bleed after they're dead. The blood coagulates in the veins, then settles to the lowest point. If you incise them, they don't bleed. This thing did bleed. And I thought, well, simplest, oldest trick in the book is a blood knife.
Show me.
It looks pretty much like that, because it does leave a line.
Oh, what's he doing to this poor lady? Oh my
And that's
God.
it. I mean, simple as that.
Wait a second.
Why do you think someone did it?
It would be exciting in a perverse kind of way to be able to fool a lot of people like this. There is a lot of money being changed hands.
In fact, Santilli has profited from the autopsy film. He's
course.
reportedly signed six-figure deals with American, French, and Japanese
Six-figure
television networks.
deals.
To put together a hoax like
Six
this
figures, though.
would,
That's not
require
bad.
a tremendous amount of time, effort, and money. Certainly the Roswell incident is one of the better documented UFO incidents.
Yeah, the
So
90s
this will be
were
a
pretty
likely
great.
candidate rather than some obscure thing.
Many ufologists worry that the
9/11.
flap over Santilli's film is obscuring the real story of Roswell. UFO researcher Clifford Stone gave me a tour of the old Roswell military base.
This was known as Hangar 84. In July of 1947, this building right here housed a secret that the United States government didn't want to talk about. As a matter of fact, I would state
Just another
that they
reminder
considered that
that I'll be
secret
dead
so
soon.
sensitive that it was rated higher than even the hydrogen bomb.
According to Stone, while the autopsy film may be a hoax, the recovery of aliens is not.
Bodies were seen by many people, including some credible military witnesses.
Among those propounding a theory of government cover-up is Walter Haut, the former Air Force lieutenant who was ordered to write the Roswell press release stating the UFO was a weather
Ooh, it's the weather balloon guy.
I feel very, very sincerely that it was a cover-up.
Walter
It
Trout.
was a way of burying
Man, this
something.
reporter
I guess
is
that's
A+.
the easiest word to use.
Could Ray Santilli be just another unwitting pawn in a
Netscape
Roswell
Navigator.
disinformation campaign?
Disinformation is not a word that a lot of people like. It implies our own government is putting out false stories. Gee, really? Could they do that? Yes. One of the things that you normally do in the intelligence community, all kinds everywhere, if some truth leaks out that you don't want leaked out, you flood the market with garbage. Then there's no way to separate out.
Do you hope that there is another film or some other evidence out there to prove that Roswell did in fact happen?
I certainly do, and I think it's a real possibility. And we are working very hard on trying to find any individuals who might have such evidence or who may have even just participated and now be willing to talk so that this information can be shared with the rest of the world.
See Everett Koop.
Nearly everyone who's studied the Roswell autopsy film is convinced that it's a hoax. But Ray Santilli, the owner of the film, stands by its authenticity.
Next, a story of life-saving love that transcends time and space.
Life-saving love.
Around me. I looked up and I saw my wife.
In 1970, Jack and Dolores Wheeler promised to love, honor, and cherish each other till death did them part. Within a year, the significance of those wedding vows would be tested on a Vietnam battlefield. Because of what happened there, Jack Wheeler has come to believe that his wife's love is a part of a supernatural force that saved his life more than once.
We just had an instant attraction for each other.
I'll never forget the first time I saw her when she came into the room there in the sorority house.
Love at first sight only begins to describe the instant, inexplicable bond that Jack and Dolores felt for each other from the moment they met.
Jack and
He'd
Dolores.
asked me to marry him like 3 months after we met.
There was a whirlwind romance, a fairy tale wedding, and then a phone call from the draft board. After only 1 month of marriage, the Wheelers were separated by the Vietnam War.
Here we had just got married and we're unsure as to the relationship and how it would survive with her staying in school and still going to college while I went off to Vietnam.
I wrote to him every day, and you know, I thought of him constantly. I knew he was in battle, but I didn't really want to think about it.
But while Dolores tried to push thoughts of danger out of her conscious
Writing
mind,
by candlelight.
Jack insists that his new bride was still connected to him through her unconscious.
Something got me up that night.
There'd been a break in the fighting. The unrelenting sound of gunfire had stopped. Jack Wheeler was asleep in what infantry soldiers in Vietnam called a hooch.
I was laying there and it was 2, 3 in the morning and I felt a presence around me. And I looked up and I saw my wife in a long robe, cam, beaconing to me. And I got up.
Wow, JF.
Went outside the hooch, and I was maybe 20
True
or 30
love
feet
knows no
from it.
hairline.
And suddenly there were 2 loud explosions. 2 mortar rounds had come in and it hit the hooch where I was. And there was shrapnel throughout
2
it,
mortars hit the
shrapnel
hooch.
throughout the cot and everything. And people would ask, you know, why I wasn't in the hooch. And I'm convinced that I saw her. I mean, it was very difficult to understand and nobody understood it and you couldn't explain it. And to this day, I can't explain it.
Back in the United States, Dolores Wheeler was unaware of Jack's close call and the fact that he had seen her exact double
And
image
that he had fathered 2
beckoning him
children
away
during
from
his tours
impending
of
danger.
Vietnam.
There's the Latin term alter ego. There's the Norse term Fardogr, which means forerunner.
Don Ward is a UCLA folklorist specializing in tales of the supernatural. He uses the word doppelganger to describe what Jack Wheeler
Doppelganger.
It's a German word.
Oh yeah, we definitely saw this because that inspired me to talk to B. Stevie, and then we eventually saw Vegan Patriot and Abigail meet their doppelgangers.
Universal phenomenon. That is the notion that the human spirit has an essence of its own that can be perceived visually by other people, and it is identical to the person themselves, right down to the clothes they wear.
But Jack Wheeler knew nothing of doppelgangers. He only knew that somehow, from a vast distance, Dolores was continuing to protect him from harm.
The choppers picked us up. They gave us some new rations.
Based on those old pictures,
and,
it looks like the hairline was
mail,
pretty
and
predictable.
It was like 7 or 8 letters that I got from my wife. We were flying in, and I had one that I was trying to read it there, but you got your pack on and your weapon, and the doors of the chopper open, so the wind's blowing, and I was reading this letter from her, and it just started to turn the page when suddenly it flew out of my hand. So I sort of got up partially and scooted back to grab the letter, and just as I did, enemy fire.
Jack believes that if he hadn't ducked for that letter, he would have been killed. And the other men in his unit did die that day.
What?
And Jack wondered what special force had spared him once again.
A lot of mental activity occurs strictly on an unconscious level. And this may have been what was happening with Mrs. Wheeler. She may have been unconsciously aware of her husband's dangers half a world away in Vietnam.
Professor John Rohner chronicles the Wheelers' experience in this collection of true stories.
His thoughts probably were almost continually on her and hers on
The
him.
Angel of
And I think
Cokeville.
that may have precipitated a telepathic connection and even a visitation.
We got hit. And I took a bullet in my hip and a bullet in my shoulder, and the chopper crashed into some trees. And I was just laying there, and I was about 20 or 30 feet from the ground. And I looked down, and I could see this image of my wife. And she had her arms out, like to comfort me or to catch me. And then I remember falling and her catching me. And I was unconscious, and when I came to, they had me back in the base camp. They said that I just fallen down and it landed in a stream, and that it had broken my fall.
When he finally returned home, Jack told no one, not even Dolores, about the eerie visitations
Apparently
he had
too many
experienced in the
people.
jungles of Vietnam.
It was several years after he had returned from Vietnam. We were in the living room, and he started telling me about the time that
Dolores
I came to
Wheeler.
him and did this and that, and I just said, whoa, I came to you over there? That's impossible. You know, that's crazy. And, you know, we didn't talk about it for a while. And then when I would read something that was similar, I'd say, well, tell me some more about what you experienced. And then I found out there were quite a few people that had experienced the same thing.
There's a man in England, his name was Tyrrell, who came up with a theory and stated that there were such things as apparitions, which required two people. There had to be an agent to send the message, and there had to be the recipient to perceive it. The experiencing of the double occurred when these two people were in conjunction with one another.
After the war, Jack and Dolores devoted themselves to home and family. Dolores' special life-saving gift seemed to be a part of
Very
the past
90s haircut.
until April 19th, 1995, when Jack was just a little late getting to his Oklahoma City office.
Ironically, I got angry at my wife for getting me up 5 minutes late because I told her I needed to be in at this meeting, and I had some stuff I needed to do, and I needed to be in the office at 9. She said that she's busy doing some things, and she just didn't realize what time it was. I went through my normal routine and just left the house 5 minutes late. So I was driving into work, and normally I'm directly in front of the federal building.
For Jack, the extra 5 minutes that his wife allowed him to oversleep would mean the difference between life and death.
Oh my God.
The explosion was like at 9 o'clock, 9:02.
He would have been there?
Which is
what?
Almost every morning I'm right there. And this morning, since I was about 5 minutes late, I was just exiting off of the freeway, getting onto 6th Street when the explosion occurred.
Where he parks his car is where all the cars caught on fire. A few minutes off, either way, he would have been seriously injured.
Whoa, that's
The Wheelers
crazy.
believed that it was something deep in Dolores' spirit that somehow kept Jack away from ground zero.
Talk about a true
His
trad.
office was demolished. If he had been sitting at his desk, as he had every other morning, he would not have survived the blast.
I believe she has a gift. She has an ability to sense needs of her loved ones and be able to protect them. All I know is that I've experienced these things, and I don't believe that I'm dreaming.
They should go cheer on
that. I
that.
just know that is what I've experienced,
driver,
and that's what I've observed.
Scoop shovel driver.
What I've lived.
Although Jack Wheeler's life was spared, the family's
what an
happiness is
immoral thing
bittersweet.
to say.
They wonder
F-Wood.
why so many lives had to be lost inside the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building, and they pray it will never happen again.
Next, startling new evidence of a Bigfoot in the wooded hills of Ohio.
When somebody told me there was Bigfoot in Ohio, I laughed.
Remember when South to West told me that Vegan Patriot was a former Miss Ohio, and I brought it up to her, and she was like,
Kind of
no.
a cottage industry of the Pacific Northwest.
Former
Entering
Miss
Bigfoot
Ohio.
country, the billboards proclaim. But recent sightings 1,500 miles to the east seem to indicate that Bigfoot's range may extend all the way across the Rockies and into the Midwest.
Bigfoot in Ohio.
I would like to report what I believe to be a Bigfoot sighting approximately 5 miles from Lisbon, Ohio.
Probability of a Bigfoot being sighted in Ohio obviously is lower than in the Northwest, but you can never exclude it.
Dr. W. Henner Fahrenbach.
Historically, there have been a goodly number of sightings made in that area of the country.
Biologist Dr. Henner Fahrenbach specializes in primate research at a college near his home in Beaverton, Oregon. His extensive analysis of Bigfoot evidence grew out of
Somebody told. I think
it
it had to have been you. I don't believe very many other people. Yeah, somebody said that it was. Told me she was a former Miss Ohio, so I brought it up to her, and she was like, "No."
During the 1960s,
scientists that are ordinarily quite rational refuse to even inform themselves of the evidence that is available. They reject it as if it was a ghost.
When somebody told me there was Bigfoot in Ohio, I laughed. I didn't believe it.
I mean, the content isn't dropping off.
Reports have made George Clapperson and Jody Cook believers. Together, they have formed the Ohio Bigfoot Research and Study Group in Cincinnati, Ohio. A 24-hour Bigfoot hotline has been set up to record area sightings.
They make a report in 1988.
George Clapperson.
You investigate it in 95, and everything is still exactly the same. They take you to where they had the sighting, and there's fresh evidence where they had their sighting years ago. That's pretty convincing.
In February of 1995, Clapperson and Cook discovered an anomalous structure near Akron, Ohio, that they believe may be a Bigfoot nest. It is similar to, but larger than, nesting sites of other primates.
It was about 4.5 feet high and about 5.5 feet long.
Jody.
It was completely hollow on the inside. It was big enough for 3 of us to go and sit in comfortably.
Are these the sounds of Bigfoot? Sightings received these sounds recorded in Ohio by Bigfoot researcher Matt Moneymaker. The recording is part of an extensive surveillance program.
Come on, guys. Matt Moneymaker. That guy looks like pre-mental breakdown Jimmy. Now, that's pretty rude. Saw a few of them in southern Humboldt County. Yeah, there's a big weed Bigfoot crossover in the lore. Matt Moneymaker.
Project that Moneymaker is conducting in southern Ohio. Sightings will bring you more on the results of this investigation on a future edition of our program.
I bet I know what they find.
Peter Byrne of the Bigfoot Research Project is cautiously
What a
optimistic
rude statement,
about the reported sightings in
Cody Turbo.
Ohio. In an average 6-month period, Byrne receives more than 3,000 calls. But from those calls, less than 5 are found to be credible sightings.
If you've had a paranormal experience, please write to us at Sightings.
Now you have to
Sightings
write
can also
to
be
them.
contacted at America Online at keyword sightings.
Ooh,
At
is
the
it a
Sightings
free number
forum, download images, sounds, and QuickTime clips. Also, join us daily in our chat room, live on AOL.
Until next time, remember, no
Matt
mystery is
Moneymaker.
closed to an open mind.
I remember
For
the guy
Sightings,
Moneymaker, Chris Moneymaker, right? I remember that guy. It's a very objective statement. It's a very rude statement, TBH.
Fighting. Sixth sense, intuition, or more.
He just knows. He sees things that other people don't see.
He finds bodies, solves crimes, and gets murderers to confess.
I knew he was the killer. I knew I was going to get him.
The cop with a killer instinct. Plus.
Okay, talk to me again.
Oh my God, yes.
Mary be haunted by World War II prisoners.
I didn't expect this much activity.
Crews aboard the famous ghost ship on the next sightings. Is this policeman's sixth sense, intuition, or more?
Okay, so these beginning things are like all of the different bumpers and promos. So whoever posted these also posted like all the bumpers and ads and previews and shit like that too. That's pretty wild.
And gets murdered.
I knew he was the killer. I knew I was going to get him.
I knew he was the killer. Oh, wait, what'd they say? Promos for episode 428.
He just knows. He sees things that other people don't see.
America Online, yeah, they're our parent company.
I knew he was the killer.
They purchased through a clerical error Fusion Studios.
Okay, talk to me again.
I didn't expect this much activity.
Is this the beginning of the episode or another preview? I feel like I'm in a hall of mirrors or something.
I know I was going to...
Something strange. This was investigator documents to cop with.
I got sick of
sightings in military base. Nobody.
Okay, this is the real preview before the episode. I'm sorry.
On this edition of Sightings, 28 years ago, something strange crashed into the icy waters of Shag Harbor, Nova Scotia.
Yeah, we're watching him again.
This was a device, not a visitor.
Investigator Chris Stiles says the Canadian government also thinks it was a UFO, and he's got the documents to prove it. George Brejak is a tough New Jersey cop with a secret weapon for corralling killers, his psychic sense.
Oh no.
I got sick to my stomach. I knew he was the killer. I knew I was going to get him.
This might be the voice of an actual ghost recorded aboard the Queen Mary. Sightings investigates. And is there a toxic killer loose in America's most secret military base, Area 51?
Nobody had any idea what this stuff might have been.
OPC Don. I gotta get a drink. I'll be right back.
Welcome to Sightings. I'm Tim White. Whatever you do, don't call Police Lieutenant George Brejak a psychic. He bristles at the term. Lieutenant Brejak says his unusual ability is just gut instinct, intuition, the feeling a cop gets after 30 years on the beat. But whatever you call it, this New Jersey police lieutenant has a gift for solving unsolvable crimes. Patterson, New Jersey is Lieutenant George Brejak's beat. He knows this
psychic
like the
cop.
back of his hand, and he also seems to know something more.
Working with George is like working with a super cop, and you have like a human lie detector right next to you.
Nano cop.
A lot of police officers develop good intuition after years on the force. It's a well-documented phenomenon called the blue sense.
Oh my God.
But George Brejak's ability is different.
I do believe George is a psychic cop. He just knows. He sees things that other people don't see.
Brejak grew up in Patterson. His family moved here in the 1940s.
Dave, you think you say everywhere is a dump.
Clean and safe.
It's my city. I know the streets. I know the people. I know what the people think. My city.
This is my city.
George Brejak has seen a lot of changes in Patterson over the years. When the mills closed in the 1950s, economic hardship caused many people to leave. And
Looks
those who
like a
stayed,
thriving
George's father,
metropolis.
were bitter.
I remember him brutally beating my mother one night. I think about that maybe that's the reason why I was given this gift.
It was the love of his mother and his deep faith that helped George persevere through the hard times. He fulfilled his dream of becoming a police officer in 1963.
Lieutenant George Brijac brings to fruition those many gifts that God has given to him. That creates power.
No, I know I'm right. I get paid to be right.
From the start, Brijac knew he had a knack for police work. He worked hard to develop his talents, but even he isn't prepared to take
Had to
all
help
of the
Cicero
credit for
get
the
down.
special gift he brings to every case.
It's crazy because I'll be driving down the street like this or something. I'm telling me to make a left turn, and I'll make a
Like,
left turn.
is it, can any of this stuff hold up in court though? Like, what? How does his psychic ability translate into better arrests and more convictions?
Sit down a block or two and get somebody with a pocket full of dope.
The
Pocket
first
full
time
of
George
dope.
realized he had more than just good gut instinct was also the first time he worked on a seemingly unsolvable case.
I'll never forget, it was November 2nd, 1979. We had a homicide in the city of Patterson where a 7-year-old boy was missing for like 3 weeks.
The boy's name was Delvis Mateus. An intensive search over all of Patterson
You can't. You can't conduct searches based off of like gut instinct, or you shouldn't be able to.
Underway. George was assigned to a stretch of track that yielded nothing.
When we went to leave, I actually got in the car, like you see on television. I put the key in the car, and something told me, go check the wooded area across the
Hey,
railroad
I'm a
tracks.
psychic. Empty your
After leaving the
pockets.
car, I got sick to my stomach. I got upset inside, and I knew I was going to find the little boy's body.
George was right. He found the boy's body under a piece of plywood. 2 weeks later, George Brijac had the killer behind bars. After the Delvis Mateus case, the other officers in Brijac's department started to sit up and take notice.
Yes, you get an instinct. I get instincts. But this man, certain things, he gets a natural
Looks like
Sometimes
the French
like,
angel.
bothers you to think that, like, why is it you? Like, why do you have this thing about you? There was a time in Patterson where I think I solved 3 or 4 unsolved homicides in 6 months. It was crazy.
Perhaps it's no coincidence that Brijac's most famous case was solved because of his desire to bring a wife-beater to justice. The victim was 24-year-old Candy Austin, who seemed to have led a charmed life until she met John Short.
John Short.
You'd have to say her family was like the Norman Rockwell all-American family. The little house with the picket fence. And just by fate, Candy Austin met John Short.
John, an active participant in all sports. He especially enjoys bowling and driving. Sure to recall all the fun in study halls. His outgoing manner assures him success in all of his goals.
Short. And it became a nightmare for Candy.
Candy was drawn to John Short from the moment they met. After a whirlwind romance, they married and had a child. But friends sensed a dark side to John's character.
My first instinct when I met John was
Judy
I
Chamberlain.
just didn't think he was the right man for her.
Candy pulled away from her family and friends. She didn't want anyone to know that John was beating her up.
Who's beating her
The
up?
violence continued to escalate. On June 22nd, 1981, in the parking lot of the Willowbrook Mall, John and Candy had a terrible fight. In his book, Buried Mistakes, author Michael Kaplan suggests that Candy's death may have been a tragic mistake.
I don't think that he meant to kill her, but then he panicked and put a screwdriver through her abdomen.
Who's this guy,
John
Jim J.
knew
Bullock?
that if he called the police, he would surely be the prime suspect. He needed someone else to discover the body.
He says to his father-in-law, which was a key word, let's go look for her, meaning you and me. Not, I'm going to go look for her. Let's go look for her. He wanted the father with him. And he says to the father-in-law, you know what? He said, let's check the Willowbrook Mall.
Back at the scene of the crime at
Probably
the Willowbrook
not.
Mall, John Short put on the performance of his life.
He runs to the car, John Short. He said, Dad,
Put on the performance of his life.
I'd rather be dancing.
He runs to the car, John Short. He said, Dad, the door's locked. He tried the door. Give me something to break the window with. So the father-in-law gave him a hammer. He comes back to the car, very excited. He smashes the glass.
Oh my God.
Short's diabolical plan worked. Candy's father was the first to see his daughter's blood-soaked body lying on the front seat of the car. No one suspected John, and he continued to play the role of the bereaved husband for more than 6 years.
I had a series of
guy's a real
dreams about
sicko.
Candy over the 6 years. She'd say, I can't stay, but I just want you to know that I'm okay, but you have to find the person who did this to me. And I had these dreams up until the time I met George. So it's almost like she was guiding me towards
Are you guys
George.
paying attention?
Until
to
1987,
the show?
George Brejack knew nothing more about the murder of Candy Short than what he'd read in the newspapers. But as soon as the case was handed over to him, he felt a strong connection. It was just the kind of case he wanted.
I took that file to my camp and read it for 3 days and come back and told my chief, I said, I'm going to solve that murder, chief.
George used the painful memories of his own abusive father to help him form a subconscious connection to the victim, the killer, and the witnesses.
I felt that he sometimes knew what I was going to say before I said it.
I knew inside of me that the father had something important to tell me. And 2 days later, I called him and I said, Fred, meet me by the TikTok diner on Route 3. I want to talk to you. He was like startled because I knew he had something inside of him to tell me. And what made me feel good about it at that point was that this thing inside of me still worked. He says,
I thought I might have a conversation with the guy who discovered the body. You know, because I'm psychic.
Every day of my life, the way it was found, he says he had to know the car was there before we got to the mall.
George went to the Willowbrook Mall. He climbed to the rooftop parking space where Candy's body had been found. He closed his eyes and relived the crime. He saw the killer. He saw John Short.
And I talked to him for a few minutes. I got sick to my stomach. I knew he was the killer. I knew I was going to get him.
Again, George Brejack was right. He saw through Short's lies, pierced his alibi, and on February...
Hey, I had no idea it might have been the husband. I mean, who would have ever thought it was the husband? Nobody, because I'm a psychic.
2nd, 1988, 7 years after Candy's murder, George arrested John Short. He had done what no other cop could do. He was exhausted and exhilarated.
I said to my chief, I said, this is great. I said, man, the magic is back inside of me. And
oh, boy.
When we arrested him, it was like the greatest high of my life.
He doesn't want any plaques or medals.
Oh boy, was he want us to think everyone in the neighborhood is thanking him?
Jack is only doing what
hey
his
man,
unique
thanks.
gift compels him to do.
Good work, George.
Every day.
When I leave this earth, my mark is here. I did what I had to do.
Where does his ability come from? Why does this cop seem to possess a supernatural power beyond reason?
And I really thank God for the gift that he has given me, because this is the perfect example how this gift works.
George Brejack draws strength from his ability to help mend the hurt in a grieving family. He's also gratified that his ability is the reason why John Short is serving 15 to 30
it is
in New
entertaining.
Jersey State Prison for murder.
Next, ancient stones reveal prehistoric man charted the stars and performed brain surgery.
Was South American civilization this sophisticated? I would say yes.
Navigated by the stars, okay, and then brain surgery?
Search out an ancient site. They dig up shards of pottery and hand tools. And
big ups.
Search out an ancient site. They dig up shards of pottery and hand tools.
Oh, dig up. I thought he said big
desiccated
ups.
Bone. And then with these fragments of civilization, they build the jigsaw puzzle that we call history.
Better than mescaline.
But a newly discovered piece of the puzzle
Don't get
doesn't
that
seem to fit.
Can of worms
Thousands
opened
of
up
carved
again.
rocks called the Ica stones suggest that eons ago, humankind had already mastered astronomy, medicine, and even aerodynamics. If the Ica stones are genuine.
Yeah, exactly. Like, isn't it typically like the most suspected person is the husband?
Every history book in the world will have to be rewritten.
Oh yeah, I would love to do that one again too. I love watching that deposition. It's so relaxing. It's so entertaining too.
I traveled to the small, bustling town of Ica in central Peru and was surprised to find that perhaps the greatest archaeological discovery of the 20th century was not being kept in a guarded vault or an illustrious university, but in the private museum of Dr. Javier Cabrera. There I found these carved stones, about 15,000 of them, that Dr. Cabrera claims were largely discovered.
I legitimately, by any standard, I don't think they presented any evidence. They didn't even present any circumstantial evidence that his psychic ability led him any further in the case. Do you think so? I don't even remember them trying to make a case for it. They just said it and then told the facts of the case.
Nearby mountains in the mid-1960s.
Mary Lou Dragon.
The Ica stones depict knowledge that ancient peoples are not supposed to possess. Here, a prehistoric astronomer studies a comet through a telescope. This is a view of the Earth, complete with all 7 continents as seen from space. There are scenes of sophisticated medical procedures as performed by ancient surgeons.
Dr. Cabrera, this is obviously a surgery here. What do we see?
Recycling, if you will.
Of the brain?
How old are these stones, which so
Man, this stuff
accurately
is really
depict
cool
modern
looking.
procedures like this heart transplant? It has been impossible to
What the fuck?
scientifically
Is that
date
real?
them, but this carving of a man riding a pterodactyl seems to indicate
What?
a time well before humankind was known to walk on Earth.
Paleontologists and anthropologists
Tell 'em, Mean
tell
Gene.
us that the dinosaurs disappeared 65 million years ago, and that man appeared during the last million years. But the stones tell us something else.
Energy of the human being.
Dr. Cabrera, a physician and professor of biology and anthropology at the University of Ica, has been vilified and ridiculed by many of his more mainstream colleagues.
He's been vilified and ridiculed. That's who Sightings brings us as our expert for this one.
They contend that the Ica stones must be fake because they contradict the known timeline of history. But adventurer and author David Childress believes that the Ica stones are not the only potential evidence that points to the existence of an advanced prehistoric culture in Peru.
Archaeologists are starting to find out that civilizations in South America are incredibly old. Yearly, they keep pushing back history and civilization in South America.
Man,
I
pterodactyls
think we're
would
going
be
to
so
find
cool.
that there are even older civilizations, and those have been discovered so far.
I like it when they grab
Evidence
people.
of an
They like
advanced
swoop down and
prehistoric
grab people.
civilization is supported by the legend of Viracocha, a
It always looks
mysterious
really cool in
stranger
the
who was
movies.
said to travel from town to town, spreading secret knowledge.
The Peruvian story of
Dark
Viracocha
secrets
is that
of
Viracocha
vampirism.
landed in the area of Ica.
Author
Perhaps someone from
adventure, yeah.
Atlantis or some other lost civilization is now a refugee from his own homeland because it's gone, and he literally walks the earth, going from town to town, city to city, and nation to nation, teaching the civilized arts of his ancient country.
If they are genuine, the Ica stones will provide scientific support for what is now only legend. But to date, not one single mainstream
I
scientist
swear I
has
don't
been willing
remember
to
this.
take any serious steps
Seeing
toward
it before
authenticating
on
the stones.
Sightings.
Dr. Cabrera's collection is so fantastic, so amazing, that official archaeologists just simply refuse to have a look at them. They're just impossible by normal historical standards. Yet what we have
We should
with
do
Dr.
Cleo
Cabrera
Watts
may
sooner
be
rather
something
than later.
That is so important in a historical way.
We don't
with
wanna live
Peru
with
that
regret.
We've got to look at it, and we've got to either authenticate once and for all these stones, or disprove them.
Why do you think some scientists have been so skeptical, so slow to accept the story of the stones? Are they threatened by them?
Por cuanto los arqueólogos decían que estas piezas.
Archaeologists have said these stones are falsifications. If there's one thing I regret, it is not having someone who seconds my opinion. I am simply an isolated investigator whom others attack by saying that these images are things, in reality, that I myself ordered engraved.
What's up, Jose?
Skepticism about the origin of the Ica stones began with the discovery itself. Newspaper accounts were vague, describing the stones as part of a secret hoard found at an undisclosed location.
Whoa, hold on.
The
There's
links
11,000 of them, like, total?
suspecting
11,000?
grave robbing or antiquities smuggling, interrogated Basilio Mendoza,
Iniquity
who was said to be
workers.
selling similar stones to tourists. When questioned by police, Mendoza claimed that he had carved all 15,000 of the stones
I hate
himself.
this fucking chat
He also
filter.
sent a confession to the newspapers. Case closed, as far as archaeologists
Legends of the
are
Hidden
concerned.
Temple.
But before you return a verdict of
Hitler-esque,
guilty,
wow.
consider this. If Mendoza had stuck to his original story of finding the Ica stones at an ancient burial site, he would have been charged with a violation of the country's strict antiquities protection law, a crime punishable by a lengthy prison term. By claiming law, a crime punishable by a lengthy prison term.
Oh, prison term.
By claiming he had manufactured the stones himself, Basilio Mendoza was able to both keep out of jail and
Hey, no
continue selling the
spoilers.
stones.
ATF Media.
When the stones are put in their proper order, the message I read has not only to do with
That's just the
Peru and its
global elites
territories,
trying to cover up
but
the
with the
truth.
world. And although this sounds like an exaggeration, the universe.
Dr. Cabrera believes that his interpretation of the stones
Dr.
offers a
Cabrera.
challenging message about not only the past, but also the future. And that is why traditional scientists have rejected the legitimacy of the stones.
Nosotros estamos viviendo momentos
We are living in apocalyptic times. Why? Because man has reversed the purpose of life, and selfishness is causing him to lose the balance of the planetary ecosystem. All the wise men of the world know that we are headed towards a cataclysm.
Fingerprints
Author
of the
of
gods.
Fingerprints of the Gods, Graham Hancock, has found this same apocalyptic message among the ruins of many other ancient civilizations.
We have inherited a remarkable legacy of knowledge from
Wow,
what
what a
appears
look.
to be a highly sophisticated and advanced civilization that was destroyed in an enormous cataclysm. And what this legacy repeatedly and urgently warns us of is that the cataclysm will recur.
These warnings may sound extreme, but there is scientific evidence that through the millennia, major Earth changes have
If the Earth collapses and society collapses, we're all going to meet up in Warwick, right?
significantly altered our planet. What artifacts could survive this kind of global cataclysm? Not wood, not paper, but stone. Many researchers, like Graham Hancock, believe in the existence of an advanced civilization predating the Stone Age, but do not believe that the Ica stones
Hey,
are
corn
genuine.
dog.
Others, like Dr. Javier Cabrera,
This guy's been lying for
adamantly
30
believe in
years.
the legitimacy of the stones and insist that they are among the most
Lying
important
or
artifacts ever discovered.
Next,
acting?
Jurassic Park isn't science fiction anymore.
We're still learning a great deal about the types of organisms that we're able to revive.
Here are some of the stories sightings is following.
We'll meet
in
at the
news.
Mount Hope Bridge.
Ancient
Okay.
enzymes are being extracted from insects.
And if you can't make
found
it to
in
there,
prehistoric
just
amber.
find a bridge.
It may be the first step toward a real-life Jurassic Park. Robin Steele
I've
is
got to go to Warwick to face my final boss to earn my way into Valhalla.
the president of Ambergene Corporation, a small biotech firm in San Carlos, California. Since 1992, Ambergene has been successfully reactivating microorganisms trapped for millions of years inside ancient amber.
We step
What a
back
disaster.
and really marvel at what we're doing. And our hope is that we're going to be able to find some very exciting information that can help us understand the secret of life, essentially.
Ambergene technicians believe that propagating ancient organisms will now have important commercial applications. Better laundry detergents, tastier beer and wine, stronger paper products, and most importantly, more effective antibiotics.
If we can find an organism that
What's with the music?
produces an antibiotic that is effective against these multiple drug
Raul
resistant
Cano.
bacteria that we have nowadays, it certainly will save a lot of lives. So I think there is a tremendous potential for a discovery that will really help.
100 million years ago,
There's a story
these
there
tiny
for what?
organisms got stuck
Going,
in
me
tree
going
sap,
to Warwick
which
at the end of the
fossilized,
world?
creating a suspension chamber we call amber.
Hypothesis is that these microorganisms, because they're ancient, they are producing chemical compounds.
My
that are
IRL
novel in
with the
structure.
Thorpes can only
Chemical
take place
compounds
during
that are
The
not
absolute end times.
found in modern organisms.
Ambergene was the first company to develop a process that allows scientists to reach the mummified remains of insects inside the amber without compromising the microorganisms dormant within them. If you saw Jurassic Park, you have a pretty good idea where some people find all this may lead.
We just don't know. We're still learning a great deal about the types of organisms that were able
Should we
to
be
revive
doing that?
from this ancient amber.
Like, should we be bringing these prehistoric animals back to life? Like, think
Las
of just
Vegas,
like the
Nevada,
diseases and
government
shit.
workers are taking off in the middle of the night from McCarran Airport on this plane, and they're landing at this military installation, which until recently didn't officially exist. That's the routine for engineers and technicians who work at Area 51, a top-secret aircraft design and testing facility in the Nevada desert, and the location of frequent UFO sightings. Now,
This
a
is a
group of
really
Area
good chill
51
stream show.
employees are suing the government, claiming that they have gotten sick.
It's a
from
great show to
on-the-job
get high and
exposure to
watching.
highly toxic chemicals. Rutgers University biochemist Dr. Peter Kahn has studied tissue samples
Oh boy,
from deceased
Peter
Area
Kahn's back
51
again.
sheet metal worker Robert Frost. Dr. Kahn found levels of dioxin and dibenzofuran never before found
Yeah,
in
Grace is
any
in
human.
Warwick.
When I first saw
Is it
his
Warwick
profile,
or
my reaction was,
Warwick?
what on earth
I
has
want
the
to say
man
it's
been
Warwick.
exposed to?
Is how you
I
pronounce
sent
it.
the profile to some colleagues around the country and other countries, and people said, what on earth is this? And I was not in a position really to tell them. Nobody had any idea what this stuff might have been.
And it is unlikely that anybody ever will. Like just about everything else at Area 51, the chemical compounds that workers have been exposed to there are classified. Whatever killed Robert Frost.
Where is it?
remains
How do
a
you
mystery.
pronounce it,
Well, it
Dave?
certainly has raised my curiosity, especially when I consider that my tax dollars are paying for the damn place.
Ooh, wow. There's Kim bringing up her tax dollars.
In Antarctica, scientists have confirmed for the first time an unprecedented increase in the melting and disintegration of this polar ice cap.
Warren?
The resulting excess water could cause seas worldwide to rise as much as 150 feet. The resulting change in mass and pressure has caused some scientists to
Oh man, there
seriously
is some
consider a
slippage
previously
in the East
ridiculed theory
Antarctic. That's not
that the
good.
entire crust of the Earth could shift.
Should the polar ice cap go in motion, the first thing that
Whoa.
will happen will
Dog
be
the bounty
tremendous
hunter?
earthquakes
Hey, my name's
worldwide.
Richard
And
No
at the
One.
same time, volcanic activity erupting, and the wind will rage wildly, trying to seek a new equilibrium.
Noon's theory of
What a
massive global
terrifying
shift is
thought.
controversial, but the effects of melting polar ice are
Jeez.
not. Recently, researchers at a Woods Hole Oceanographic
Oh, they live in.
conference
Okay, well, that's
theorized
my
that as much
fault.
as
That's just
1/3 of
me
eastern
being
Antarctica-
high, and I thought it was the same place. People were just pronouncing it differently. So they were originally in Warwick. Now they're in Warwick. Now they're just in Warren. Okay, so I would have been a fool then. I just showed up to the wrong town at the end of the world.
Antarctica could soon slip. A theory originally
Dick No
supported
One.
by Albert Einstein.
That savvy guy's alter
We'll have
ego.
more stories from the news
Dick
next
No
time.
One.
Now, here's what's coming up on Sightings.
Just what did crash into Shag Harbor, Nova Scotia 28 years ago?
We thought it was a plane crash.
Warwick.
It turned out wasn't. We don't know what it was.
Warwick is a dump.
Investigating America's most
The
haunted
warlock
ship.
is up there.
Expect this much activity.
Smelling like baked soul.
While it may be true that the Mounties always get their man, on October 4th, 1967, they apparently let a UFO slip through their fingers. It was on that day,
Warren,
at 11:45 p.m., that a
Warwick.
mysterious craft
Warren,
plummeted into the
Warwick. There we
waters of
go.
Shag Harbor, Nova Scotia, in southeastern Canada. Now, nearly 30 years
I've
later,
adjusted
the
my
answer to the Shag
generative
Harbor mystery
databases.
is about to be uncovered. 172 miles away from the nearest international airport and
Lonesome
178
Road.
miles away from any Air Force testing range, Shag Harbor, Nova Scotia is an unlikely location for sightings of unidentified spacecraft. But UFO investigator Chris Stiles has come to this tiny outpost on the eastern edge of North America because of stories his grandfather told him
remember
about
this
one
grifter?
strange October night in 1967. Stiles has uncovered an extraordinary paper trail of evidence, confirming that something anomalous, something very unconventional, crashed into the Atlantic off the coast of Shag Harbor, just as his grandfather had always described.
He told me about a 60-foot disc.
This is the other thing too, is that like they'll do multi-part things and they won't do like a recap, so you don't know, and then like some of the episodes kind of feel like they bleed together, because it'll be like half new stuff and then some like updates that feel like they're exactly the same as the previous one.
With 4 bright white lights that had hovered for a time in the air, tilted at a 45-degree angle.
You know what? She was complaining the other day. She was like, "Oh, you know, I can't do her weird Ukrainian accent," but she was like, you know, she was moving into a new place, so she needed a lot of, she was going to have to resort to doing a Q&A stream. And I commented, I was like, well, if you just do a long-form video on Ben and Grace Thorpe, you'd be able to afford your dream apartment, which is true.
And hit the water surface with loud noise.
I don't know why she's so
Nearly
resistant
30
on
years
it.
after the crash, Stiles has discovered that there were many other eyewitnesses who still remember the crash like it was yesterday.
We thought it was a plane crash. The way it turned out wasn't. We don't know what it was.
Laurie Wickens is a local fisherman, born and raised around Shag Harbor. He was driving at night with several friends when he spotted the strange craft.
We just come over that hill and we was driving towards Woods Harbor and we see lights. We thought it was an airplane that was coming on and going off, 4 in sequence. 1 would come on, and 2, and 3, and 4, then they'd all be out for a few seconds, then it'd start over.
Wickens and his friends saw the object crash into the harbor. They called the RCMP, who responded to
I
the
would like to
impact
know her
site.
thoughts on the Flintstones.
At that time, there was a single light, maybe a half-mile offshore, quite visible, but it was really dark. I was left on shore to keep an eye on the light and to
Whatever.
watch for
Ronald
if anything
Pond,
happened to
okay.
it, and briefly interview the witnesses as I was
Look
doing
at this
it.
guy's
Within 5
bangs.
minutes,
What the fuck?
7 minutes, the light extinguished.
The RCMP alerted the Coast Guard, and until they arrived, local fishermen scoured Shag Harbor looking
Blocking
for
her
survivors
blessings,
of what was thought to
absolutely.
be a light plane crash. Captain
She
Lawrence
is really
Smith
hot,
was
I
among the
think.
first to reach the impact
There's
site.
something about that weird accent that's
heavy
just
yellow
like,
foam floating on the water. It was thick like shaving cream, but it was about
it just
thick,
hits
heavy
right, you
yellow
know.
foam
Hey,
floating on
don't. Okay, here we go. Something Shag. Okay, so it's a Shag Harbor hat of some
the
kind.
water. It was thick like shaving cream, but it was about 3 inches thick on top of the
Canadians
water.
can't lie. What
There
about
was no
Methadone
smell.
Clinic?
And I thought then, well, you know, if a plane crashed and it skidded across the water for a ways, that it wouldn't make a foam. But then I couldn't figure out why it would be yellow.
Early search and rescue efforts were conducted in full
Canadian
view of the
Navy
public.
dive team.
Films were made. Newspapers carried the story as front-page news. Then, without warning, there was no more public disclosure.
Oh.
Chris Stiles believes this is because of what may have been found there.
Can we get a shot of you?
this
Oh, I thought he was in a
was
hotel
A
room.
device, possibly a craft, possibly a probe from another intelligent civilization, not of this earth.
Stiles has reached this conclusion after examining hundreds of documents obtained through the Canadian version of the U.S. Freedom of Information Act. Among the documents he has uncovered is this Canadian Armed Forces memo stating that the Rescue Coordination Center conducted preliminary
Yeah.
investigation and discounted the possibilities that the sighting was produced by an aircraft, flare, or any other known objects.
There were a number of related sightings that night. In those hours before, an Air Canada flight saw UFO activity on the horizon. They were greatly disturbed. There was apparently large explosions occurring, and as the phenomena
What do you mean they don't
approached the
shave? That's
aircraft,
not
there was
true.
a lot of communication with the towers.
I've seen films
and
that
eventually
say
it was decided
otherwise.
to vacate the airspace and seek alternate routes.
Even more eyewitness accounts were found in a secret RCMP file.
Captain Leo Howard Mersey was the master of a dragger. He had 18 men aboard. All were witnesses to 4 UFOs in the distance on the water surface. They had radar returns, and after observing them for 2 hours, one of them became airborne and arced in the sky southwest toward the Shag Harbor area, which was 175 miles away.
As a public search for the craft began in Shag Harbor, behind the scenes.
Many people have come, including locals, to tell a story that while this operation was going on in Shag Harbor, there was another operation up the coast about 25 miles away off of Government
Oh my
Point.
God, did you see him? They filmed him like he's trying to,
miles away,
desperate to find a way in, like rattling the cage.
Up the coast about 25 miles away off of Government Point.
In 1967, Government Point was the site of a super-secret military base. Former base divers claimed the search at Shag Harbor diverted attention away from the UFO's final resting place, off Government Point.
While they were down there, there was still activity going on. They were reluctant to confirm details, but they knew that this thing was being repaired. As one person told me, the other object was standing nines for is the expression they used, sort of overlooking and giving it protection, assistance, whatever was necessary. And they're quite certain from their experiences that this was nothing that was produced here on Earth. And some of the divers insist that they did indeed.
Kim deleted the video that I put a timestamp on to show you guys the video. She took the video down.
In this letter written 2 months after the Shag Harbor incident, it specifically mentions DND,
examining DND
UFO material available for review. Based on this information, Chris Stiles is mounting a recovery operation to search for more UFO debris. Sightings will document this search and bring you the findings on an upcoming edition of our program.
Next, is the Queen Mary the most haunted spot in America?
In my opinion, there are at least 600
oh boy, here we go.
that walk these corridors.
Man, it's one of the very last segments, but like good things come to the patient people. We get the king of sightings now.
In her heyday, the luxury liner HMS Queen Mary hosted royalty and heads of state.
Time to wake up and pay attention.
Stars. But she also carried third-class passengers, dreaming of a better life. Young men going off to battle for the first time during World War II. And prisoners of war who faced an uncertain fate. All that emotion, the dreams, the fears, the hopes, the history, is still felt today because, as Sightings Carla Wall discovered, the Queen Mary is haunted.
That was my King TL tribute clap.
You don't have to stay here.
Was it last night when he was like, Grace, quit looking at me with those Dahmer eyes?
Yes, you can do that too if you want to.
This night, there are no real children aboard the Queen Mary.
I want to go back, then I want to go back.
Oh, this is interesting footage.
Yes! I want to look. I'm looking.
Psychic Peter James believes that the tiny voice calling out to him is physical proof that the restless spirit of a child is trapped inside this aging luxury liner.
Let me help you. Okay, talk to me again. In my opinion,
she did. I thought it was a good look, though.
Ghosts that walk these corridors.
Looks like Rich from HFF.
The Queen Mary has become known in paranormal circles as a holding cell for the netherworld. Eerie echoes of the past still resound in every corner.
We keep coming back to that idea, right? Multiple segments about purgatory and being stuck in like a, stuck in a transitory state, or not even in a transitory state, but in like a neutral state.
She was first launched in 1936. The Queen Mary changed the face of transatlantic travel. She was the fastest ship in the water, built to carry the world's rich and famous. But World War II changed all that. The great liner was stripped and put into military service, ferrying soldiers and prisoners around the world. It was during the war.
Look how many people are on that boat,
Jenny
man.
Palmer, prisoners around the world.
Holy shit, look at all the people. Those are people, right? They're not like penguins.
It was during the war, says Ship Officer Jenny Palmer, that a macabre incident turned the seas around the Queen Mary red with the blood of innocent men.
One of the escorting cruisers, when she was approaching the Scottish shorelines, turned accidentally in front of the Queen Mary. and the Queen Mary hit this cruiser. It was called the Curacao.
Jenny Palmer, not looking bad.
336 men were lost.
Because of the danger posed by enemy submarines known to be operating in the area, the Queen Mary was ordered not to stop for survivors. The pathetic cries of dying men went unanswered, but not unheard, as the ship pathetic cries area, the Queen Mary was danger posed by enemy submarines.
Just how a woman would phrase it.
Marines known to be operating in the area, the Queen Mary was ordered not to stop for survivors. The pathetic cries of dying men went unanswered, but not unheard.
That's weird,
as the ship
Randy.
slowly sailed away. Has that chilling event from the past somehow been imprinted on the
We
present?
don't need any censorship over Grace
Paranormal
Thorpe's
researchers
dead eyes.
Richard and Deborah Sennett believe the Queen Mary is a classic site of what's known as residual haunting.
Residual
At sightings request,
haunting.
the Sennetts have joined Peter James and a team of support technicians
Like
for a
McHenry's
late-night
attic after he's
surveillance.
gone will be like definitely
They've
have
brought the
residual
tools
haunting.
of the paranormal trade, an electrostatic voltmeter to detect anomalous levels of static electricity, a thermocouple to measure minute temperature fluctuations, and highly sensitive microphones attached to digital recorders. 3D photographs will be taken with a stereoscopic camera, and heat-sensitive video imaging is provided by a thermovision camera. When you come, what are you looking for?
We're looking for evidence of paranormal
Richard
activity.
Sennett.
I mean, it's one thing to have a collection
I probably
of
made the
stories
joke last
about
time that his
people
coworker
sighting
was like
ghosts, but if we can get evidence
Bob Congress
to
or
prove
something.
that there is something here.
At 1 a.m., the investigators are concentrating their activities deep below decks in an area of the ship not open to the public. Suddenly, we heard strange sounds resonate through the hull.
Haunted Vlogmas.
Hear it? Hello? Speak to me.
But as suddenly as they appeared, the sounds vanished.
This is intense.
We went to the Queen Mary's indoor pool where Peter had first heard the cries of a ghostly
Peter wanted to go to
child
the
in
pool.
1991.
Activity.
People often see things on the second.
People have seen all kinds of different things.
Almost immediately, Richard's voltmeter begins to register electrostatic interference.
Listen to this. This is pretty strange.
So that's telling you what, Richard?
There's a strong static charge in here. There may well have been something in there. There's something moving around in there.
Photographer Paul Scarzo stayed in sync with anomalous meter readings.
Every time the electrostatic voltmeter would spike, that's when I would take a picture.
His 3D camera has multiple lenses
Yeah, I mean, I'm
with
like
shutters that fire
3 hours and at 3.5 hours earlier. Now we're like almost at 3 here.
simultaneously. The
I've been
result is
cresting
to
for a
provide
minute.
slightly different angles of the same field of view.
When you're shooting in 3D photography, you're going to catch whatever the solid object is in all 4 lenses in one of the different sections of this changing area.
Probably the
He
peak
got a
though
reading.
was
It
episode
a very
1 of
impressive spike, and so I took a picture.
Sightings.
We get an image. The image appears to be a solid object, and it's between Richard and I. Now, to do that would be physically impossible because the solid object only appears in one
Joe
of the 4
Latroglio
frames.
from the
Photographic
state.
experts cannot explain it since the camera shoots the 4 frames at the same time.
Reaching the crescendo.
It's only in one of the frames. And for something to move in and out of the shot that fast would have to travel faster than the aperture speed. All 4 of these frames should be identical, and they're not. As far as an explanation for this kind of anomaly in the film, there isn't any.
There's no explanation.
The team moves on, 5 decks down, deep under the waterline. We work our way along the keel to the stem of the ship.
The stem.
Listen. Listen. Listen.
Did they pick the red light on purpose?
There's that noise.
Eerie noises rumbling within the empty bulkheads mark this as another paranormal hotspot.
Hello? Now remember, we're 50 feet underwater.
This is the bow of the ship, the impact point where the Leviathan Queen Mary cut the Curacao in half. Is this wartime tragedy indelibly imprinted on the steel frame of the ship? As we
I don't think I'd
descended
like to
into
go
the
on
bow,
this
the
ship, to
thermovision
be honest.
camera registered inexplicable cold spots. Then, above the drone of the voltmeter, more strange noises. Amplified, the sound takes on some of the characteristics of a deep human voice.
Oh, come on.
An overall impression of this place, is this what you expected to find on the Queen?
I didn't
Great
expect
lighting.
this much activity. That's honest. I expected we'd get something by the pool, or maybe something in the engine room, and the stories all indicate, there's several ghosts here. I'm willing to say that there's
Oh
much
my God,
more
I
than
love the
several,
Poseidon Adventure.
that there's a lot of psychic impressions on this ship.
In the many years that I've done ghost research, I would say, by far, no question, that in my opinion, the Queen Mary is one of the most haunted places in the country.
Speak to me. Talk to me.
Who doesn't love a spirited box?
There's an interesting expression many of us use to describe the feeling we get when visiting an historic place like the Queen Mary. We say it has a sense of history, that there's a tangible sense of the past imprinted on the present. That's the same definition many paranormal researchers use for the word haunting.
Einstein.
Next, from outer space to cyberspace, UFOs have found a home on the internet.
It will dwarf the power and the reach of other media.
Oh, final segment. UFOs on the internet. Man, that was I don't care for that ship.
Here at Sightings, viewer input is critical. It's through you that we learn about important new cases, intriguing opinions on paranormal phenomena, and of course, the skeptic's point of view. Recently, Sightings went online to give viewers instant access to our investigative team, and so Sightings could give something back to you.
America.
If
Whoa,
Alexander Graham Bell
badass.
sees now, phone lines being used to transfer messages, images, and thousands of pages of data from all over the world directly into your home computer. In the vast universe of cyberspace, Sightings maintains an outpost
Imagine
of information
smashing a
on
trad girl
America
with that
Online.
lighting setup.
Through AOL's subscription service, Sightings viewers can download information about UFOs and other paranormal phenomena. Sightings
Oh,
has
no,
also
not
made
that
it possible
guy.
for AOL subscribers to exchange information with other paranormal enthusiasts and talk live with Sightings' own experts.
Why would the government cover up a balloon crash for so long?
Recently, subscribers had a chance to query Stanton Friedman and Carl Flock, two prominent UFO researchers who are often at loggerheads about the mysterious crash at Roswell, New Mexico. They brought their expertise online.
How can experts sort the genuine UFO reports from crackpots looking for publicity? You go first, Stanton.
Look at the credentials of the individuals they're dealing with.
You can look at what they tell you to see if it's consistent with the other information that you have available about what they're reporting.
Cyberspace is a new medium, and in some ways I expect it will
Randy.
dwarf the power and the reach of other media.
Michael
Terry
Lindemann runs
Taylor.
an online information center called the Institute for the Study of Contact with Non-Human Intelligence.
I actually think there's a very good match, in fact, between people working on the UFO subject and people in cyberspace. In a
How to tell the
room
difference
full of
between a
UFO
crackpot.
enthusiasts, you find lots of people with advanced degrees and lots of people with computer skills.
Nicknames can be used instead of real names online. This anonymity encourages hoaxing, but also allows reluctant witnesses to come forward.
More and more people will tell stories.
This allows us to
or
get more
share
unverified
experiences and insights
information.
that they have literally kept to themselves all their life. And the story set apart by itself may be only curious, but set in a constellation of other stories from equally solid people, it becomes a phenomenon. It becomes something important.
Online, Sightings periodically conducts opinion polls on a variety of paranormal topics. Recently, we asked the
The Red
question,
Rooster.
do you believe that the government is involved in covering up the truth about their involvement in UFOs? Over 90% of the respondents answered yes.
Wow,
US
over 90%. What Clarence had. Well, I think you know the answer to that. It's just another day to him. It's happy Killings Time days or whatever.
government is covering up what they know. Through the online service, you can participate in the sightings opinion polls. We'll bring you the results on future programs.
If you've had a paranormal experience, please write to us at Sightings. Sightings
Wow.
can also be contacted at America Online at keyword sightings. At the Sightings Forum, download images,
I still
sounds,
couldn't tell
and
you if we'd
QuickTime
seen
clips.
those episodes
Also,
before. I
join
feel
us
like I would
daily
have
in our chat
remembered
room,
some of this
live
stuff
on
that I don't
AOL.
remember.
Until next time, remember, no mystery is closed
To an open mind.
For Sightings, I'm Tim White.
Oh man, thank you, Henry Winkler. Yeah, he calls it the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. He doesn't like any holidays, I don't think. I wonder what would happen if you wished him a happy Black History Month. How he would feel about that. All right, I gotta go. Thanks for hanging out. I'll be back in the morning for a Thorpe ultra deep dive, 5 hours of Ben Thorpe debating. That's gonna have to be good. I actually noticed, Randy, on the video of Ben, the 5-hour debate, you said in the comments, I noticed it the other day, like a year ago, that you hoped I did a deep dive and covered the whole thing. So finally, you're going to get that. So anyway, thanks for hanging out, guys. I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully.